Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Lexi Otts here, and it's Wednesday, and we've got a lot to talk about today. This is a crazy stream amount of work I got to do for today. As far as we got a preview for the Raptors Game 5 against Cleveland Cavaliers. We've got a preview for Toronto Tempo's first ever competitive game, which is a preseason game tonight against Connecticut Sun at Coca-Cola Coliseum. And the NBA yesterday dropped the new rules for anti-tanking with the draft. And I'd like to go over that with you guys too, to kind of understand the new system and what it pertains and means to the Toronto Raptors. So yeah, there's a lot to do today, and I'm not going to delay. I'm going to go ahead and do the Raptors game first, the WNBA game second, and then we'll have it open for them to talk about all the different stuff, including the new rules from Adam Silver that were doled out yesterday. I honestly think the system might really work, what he decided. So we'll get right into it. Let's not delay. First of all, we're playing the Cavs today in Cleveland. And this is the jersey they're wearing, guys. They're going to be wearing these today. This is my brand new Colin Murray-Boyles black Raptors jersey. And, well, that's what they're going to be rocking this evening when they go into Cleveland to play on the road. Lots of talk yesterday in the practice interviews about the environment in there and how it's going to be hostile and how the Raptors are ready to go in there with their defensive intensity and aggressiveness and come in and do something on their court because they know this is necessary if they're going to win this series, because the one team's going to have to win somewhere on the road, right? Well, we have to win on the road, and we need to do it tonight. So let's get right into it. Latest lineup news. Well, the news has not changed a whole lot for this series. Emmanuel Quickley, of course, has been declared out for the game today. He will not be playing. It's likely they'll start Jacoby Walter once again. If they have won 2 games with him starting, might as well keep him starting, right? Some people would push to have Colin in the starting lineup or maybe Sandro. But no, I think that they're fine with Walter. And part of the reason why, even if he's not hitting his shot, he's such a good defensive cover from the start on Harden or Mitchell. And starting Walter for defensive purposes, regardless of whether he's hitting his shot or not, is a good reason to start him. Shed, in his practice interview, talked about his friend Walter and his shooting woes right now. And they all really have a lot of faith in him that he's going to start making his shots again. And that, Shed's a little bit of poking fun at his good friend, Jacoby. But yeah, they all have faith in him that he's going to come around. He's going to be fine. And, Walter's playing exceptional defense. So, yeah, Emmanuel's the only one on the injury list for the Raptors this morning, and he is definitely out tonight. So, yeah, expect the starting lineup of Walter, Ingram, Barrett, Barnes, and Pirtle to start the game today. The Cavs are not hurt at all. They, once again, have another day where they are going to be having a clean injury list all around. So, no, Thomas Bryant is not hurt at this point, and they have nobody unavailable for their team. They will all be available for this game. Now, the ESPN matchup predictor is predicting that Cleveland has a 61% chance to win this game at home tonight. So that is the odds right now, 61% for the Cavs, 39% for the Raptors is the odds right now. Yeah. All right. Let's get to the really important news this morning. Who are the referees? Well, it's time, and we knew this was coming at some point. We did get Scott Foster for the crew chief tonight, guys. Scott Foster, number 48 in his 32nd season out of Silver Springs, Maryland. His favorite TV show is Ted Lasso. He likes the movie Braveheart. He listens to Michael Franti and Spearhead. His favorite book is Golf is Not a Game of Perfect. His favorite meal is Maryland blue crab and corn on the cob. He likes the app PJA Tour Live. He most like to visit Italy. He wants to win the pickleball championship, and his hidden talent is body surfing. Scott Foster has officiated 1,867 regular season games in 31 seasons as an NBA staff official. Foster has also refereed 263 playoff games, including 26 NBA final games. He worked the NBA All-Star Game in 2010 in Arlington, Texas, and the All-Star Game in 2019 in Charlotte, North Carolina. Yeah, it is the infamous and dubious Scott Foster as our crew chief, the extendor. And, well, I have different ideas about why Foster's doing this game. and they're not totally necessarily bad. We'll just have to see. I think that the sign of Adam Silver being at our game on Sunday and seeing the crowd and being on our broadcast with Matt and Jack and talking about basketball in Canada and him being in that environment, Adam Silver is a smart guy. And in some ways, you could very well be. Let's not just assume that Scott Foster is going to be doing a HIF job on us today. This could go either way, honestly. I could see Scott Foster helping us beat the Cavs in Cleveland tonight also. So we're going to have to leave that realm of possibility open and not necessarily just say doomsday. Scott Foster, oh, we're screwed. Because honestly, he comes for storylines and narratives directed by Adam Silver. And it could very well be that Adam Silver was impressed with the work we did as a crowd for Toronto this weekend, and that he may be coming to help us a little bit. We'll have to see. Either way, we know Scott Foster is a major manipulator of games, and he can direct a win for either team. So we are at his mercy to a degree. But also at the same time, if we take it to the Cavs like we have the last two games and really, really, really be aggressive, I don't know. Is Scott Foster going to put us on a leash? Is he going to hold us back? Is he going to let us play? Is he going to let Scotty be the big bad bully that he is on the court? That is a big question right here. Is Scott Foster going to let Scotty be Scotty? That's what I want to know. Is Scott Foster going to let Colin Murray-Boyles be Colin Murray-Boyles? That's what I want to know. Because in some ways, that's the biggest factor when you're thinking about Scott Foster in this situation, is who is he going to be doing weird shit to? It could do weird shit to the Cavs. Trust me. He could be all over James Harden. Trust me. So Scott Foster this season, we were 1-3 this year. We did lose 3 games to start, and we won the last game that he ref for us this season. So over the season, we were 1-3 for the year. It's not that great. We our record with him for all 31 years of the Raptors is 43% winning, which is a dismal, bad winning percentage. It's not a good winning percentage among all the referees. And the Cavs win 55%. So 43 to 55% for the Cavaliers with crew chief Scott Foster. We're just going to have to see, is Adam Silver coming to get him to regulate us and calm us down from not being so aggressive? I don't know. We'll have to see. The second ref is Sean Wright out of New York, 21st season, number 4. His favorite TV show is Law and Order. He likes the movie Love Jones. He listens to Michael Jackson, like the great people of Berlin. That's right. Favorite book is Crime and Punishment. His favorite meal is roasted chicken and veggies. His favorite app is his son's football team's app. He'd like to visit Greece, and he'd like to fly a plane, and his hidden talent is playing chess. That's right. That's right. Sean Wright has officiated 1,177 regular season games in 20 seasons as an NBA staff official. He has also refereed 104 playoff games, including 3 NBA Finals games. Yeah, Sean Wright is a better ref than Scott Foster towards us. This season, we had the same record as Scott Foster with Sean Wright, 1-3. We won the first game he refed and lost the last 3 games he's refed. Our winning percentage with Sean Wright as a franchise is 53% winning. And, well, the Cavs win a lot more with Sean Wright. They win 60%. So 53 to 60 is the split for the Cavaliers with the second ref, Sean Wright. So the first 2 main refs are not naturally favoring us. Let's just say that. The third ref does, though, and he is our friend, the Lithuanian Gamidas Petraeus. That's right. Number 50 in his 11th season. We love Petraeus. He has been fantastic for us over the years. His favorite TV show is Narcos. He loves the movie Coming to America with the great Eddie Murphy. He loves to listen to Swedish House Mafia. His favorite book is The Great Gatsby. He likes to eat Ceppaline. He loves Peloton for an app. He'd most like to visit Iceland, cycle through the French Alps, and his hidden talent is ballroom dancing. That's right. We've had Guillauminas a lot this year. That's right. Guillauminas Petraeus has officiated 579 regular season games and 22 playoff games and 10 seasons as an NBA staff official. Yeah, he's the one who favors us out of the 3 refs that are reffing us today. We have for this season, we won 4 out of 6 with him. So we're 4-2 for the season. We had him 6 games this year, 4-2. We win 60% of our games. historically throughout the 10 years of Petraeus, and the Cavs only win 51% of their games. So 60-51 with the third ref, Petraeus, for the Raptors. The alternate ref. We should talk about him real quick. There is an alternate ref, and the alternate ref for today is John Butler, number 30. I won't read off his personal stuff like I did for the other ones, but I will tell you his odds with us, just in case he does get in the game. We had him a lot this year also. We were 4-2 with John Butler this year, so that's a pretty good record, 4-2. We're having exactly 50-50 record with him with wins and losses, so 50% winning. But the Cavs are his worst team in the league. They only win 29% of their games. So 50-29 for the Raptors with the alternate ref, John Butler, who's not likely to matter in this game because the other guys are reffing. He's just a backup just in case. So, yeah, Scott Foster, Sean Wright, and Guillermitas Petraeus. And, yeah, Foster is scary. I don't like having Scott Foster for Game 5 in Cleveland. No, I don't. But we'll just have to see what Scott Foster cares about, what his narrative is, what his directives and his mission is as far as what Commissioner Silvers wants him to do. We're just going to have to watch for that. I don't know. Scott Foster could call it really tight and not allow us to play the physical brand that we've been playing when we were in Toronto, and that could be an issue. Let's just put it that way. That could be an issue. So hopefully we'll just have to see how it goes. Either way, Darko and the team have to adjust, and they have to find strategies through the game live to try and win the game as it goes. And that is a strength for us. That is definitely a strength for us as far as being on our toes, adjusting fast, and utilizing the great talents of our team and the acumen and the knowledge. We can make adjustments, and we can do it very effectively. So hopefully the whistle, I don't want the whistle to be too tight. I like the physical style that we've been playing, but there's no telling. Scott Foster will set the tone today, and we'll have to see if he allows them to play the way we've been playing, or we're going to have to play by his rules and how he wants to do things. So, yeah, this could be very all right, real quick, I want to do the preview for the WNBA game real quick. And we'll get all the preview stuff out of the way, and then we can talk all the different things about everything. The practice interviews yesterday. There was a great media day interview with Sandy Brondello and Monica Wright-Rogers that I want to go over also, and more information about the tempo and what style they're going to play, and more about what's kind of going on with their training camp and their decisions on how they're going to cut people and how the timeline is. I got a lot of that information for you. But right now, let's look at the game for tonight. They're going to be playing their first ever game. This is so exciting, guys. That's right, tempo, baby. Let's go. I'll put on the other hat right now real quick. Why not? Because we're doing the tempo preview now. So, yeah, let's see. All right, first of all, to start the tempo preview, I will go ahead and begin by going over our injuries. Now, this is something that I found out yesterday, and I want to do the Toronto Tempo Redditor of the Day, and it's existing in the mind. And, well, they've posted the game status for the Tempo players, and I appreciate that. In case any of y'all didn't know, here's the game status report for the Tempo tomorrow. Julie Alamon is questionable for today. She's reconditioning. She has arrived in Canada. She is with the team, but she has not been at training camp enough, and she hasn't been around the team enough. So I'm going to guess she's going to sit out today because she just hasn't gotten integrated and orientated with the Toronto Tempo yet, coming from her EuroLeague activities and getting over here just now. But she is in Canada. She is with the team, and she is going to be integrated in, but she will not probably be playing today. So we won't see the great Belgian, the first ever expansion draft pick for the Toronto Tempo, Julie Alamon. Brittany Sykes. Brittany Sykes is questionable for today due to a right hip injury. It's not likely we'll see Slim in this game tonight for the first Tempo game ever. So it's likely that our all-star from last year is going to be sitting for today's game. All for sure out. Isabel Harrison is in the cast with her right hand broken. And, well, she's going to be out at least for the time being until this cast gets healed and off. So Isabel Harrison is out tonight for the Tempo, along with 3 of the women who are still overseas with their European teams and have not come over to join the Tempo yet. And that is Maria Conde, Kitty Laxa, and Nina Milic, that are all still overseas. But otherwise, it's a clean bill of health. So you can expect to see Liz Balogun, Tiani Key, Kiki Rice, Marina Mabry, and the rest on the court tonight. So yeah, be ready for that. That's right. So thank you to the Toronto Tempo Redder of the Day, existing in the mind for the game status report and posting it there. The Connecticut Sun on the other side are not showing any injuries on their injury report from what I can tell here. So we'll go ahead and do this instead. I'm going to go over their roster, kind of like what I do with the G League team, and just kind of tell you guys who to look for on the other side. Now, I'm so new at this. I'm going to mess up names, and I am also going to not know exactly what I'm talking about. So please bear with me. I'm on a learning curve with the WNBA, and hopefully I can do all right. Hopefully I can do all right. All right, let's see. Let's start out with the Connecticut team. I'm going to kind of just go through from the oldest players to the newest. Of course, on Connecticut, they've got Shea Petty from Temple University. Of course, they acquired Brittany Griner. So Brittany Griner is in Toronto today, guys, to play the Tempo at the Coca-Cola Coliseum tonight. So if you're down there, you'll get to see the great Brittany Griner. Of course, we know Brittany's story about being imprisoned in Russia and that whole saga. So she's going to be here tonight. Mamu Gran Toure, Kennedy Burke, Diamond Miller, Olivia Nelson Ododa, Olivia Nelson Ododa. I believe that's right. Harmony Turner, Charlize Ledger Walker, Madison Hayes, Gianna Neepkins, Anissa Morrow, Aaliyah Edwards of Canada will be at the game tonight. Of course, our great Canadian Aaliyah Edwards plays for the Connecticut Sun, and she will be at the game tonight. So we can see that fun connection to our country. Reagan Beers, Kyla Oldacre, Taylor Bigby. Taylor Bigby? That sounds like a Dave Chappelle sketch. Layla Lacan and Neil Angloma. I forgot one player, and I'll bring it up because this is the drama for the game tonight, is Marina's going to be playing against her former team. Marina Mabry was on the Connecticut Sun last year, and, well, her girlfriend's still on the Connecticut Sun, and that's Senya Rivers. So that's the thing to watch for, is watch for Brittany Griner on the court, Aaliyah Edwards, and then Marina's girlfriend and her former team. That's the drama here to watch this. But it is preseason. And Sandy Brondello was very clear at her press conference this week that these preseason games today and Friday are for discovering the talent that's here for training camp to try and make the team. So don't expect to see any of the main tempo kind of stuff going on for these games. These are really true preseason games and training camp to try and suss out who's going to make the final roster. So you're going to see a lot of the players that may not make the team out on the court in the game today and on Friday, just so y'all know. But yeah, that's the Connecticut Sun. I do have the ref report for this game. And y'all may be like, well, how do you do a ref report for the WNBA when we have never played before? Well, I have no stats on the refs for the Tempo, but I do have the stats for the Connecticut Sun with the referees. We have our referees for tonight's game at Coca-Cola Coliseum. The crew chief's going to be Tiara Cruz, number 5. And, well, her win percentage with the Connecticut Sun is a 57% winning percentage. That's a pretty high winning percentage. So it sounds like Tiara Cruz does favor the Sun. The second ref today is going to be Tyler Murkovich. Of course, he's an NBA ref, also a G League ref, and we have seen him referee the Raptors and the 905, so we're familiar with Tyler. Tyler is a 40% winning percentage with the Connecticut Sun. So 40% winning. That's not as good as the 57% with crew chief Tiara Cruz. And then the third ref for the preseason first ever Toronto Tempo game is Blanca Burns. She has a 58% winning percentage with the Connecticut Sun. So it seems like two of the refs are favorable towards Connecticut, and Tyler Murkovich is kind of, yeah. But we don't know. In some ways, look, with the expansion team, there's no pressure on this. They've just been thrown together. Do you expect them to win today? I don't know. I don't know what to expect. It's a wide open, clean slate. And there's all kinds of ways we can fill this in as a team starting off going forward. So, yeah, we just got to go from unknown to learning and seeing what this team is, how they are, how good they're going to be, and just what we got to do. We're along for the ride. And, well, we're just happy to have a team. We're going to be rooting for them regardless of the wins or losses. That's right. So there's your first ever Toronto Tempo ref report. It looks like two of the refs favor the Suns, and Tyler Merkovich is kind of meh. So, yeah, there's your first ever. This is historic. We just did our first ever Toronto Tempo ref report. There you go. Taking the hat back off, and we'll get back into the other stuff now as far as things. So, yeah, this is a very important Raptors game today. This is a game 5. The Raptors have been in game 5s in the past, and, well, sometimes we shine, and, well, sometimes it don't go so well. But this is absolutely a crucial game. I'm going to say this right now. You know, if we win today, we really do have a good chance to just wrap up this series on Friday. But that there's no, who knows what's going to happen. We'll just have to see. Ref Foster is going to be a big factor in things. So we just have to watch out. We just have to watch out. All right, I'm going to check in with you guys in the chat now that I've got my 2 previews out of the way. I hope that WNBA preview for the preseason game tonight was interesting. The thing is here, it's really interesting how the Tempo are putting out a lot of information on how to get to their arena. That, it is kind of confusing to find Coca-Cola Coliseum. But just to reiterate what they're telling everyone is the best way to get to the arena, if you're not going to drive down there and park near it yourself, which there is all that parking near Fort York that you can go park at and walk across Strawn and get to the Princess of Wales gates and then walk into Coca-Cola Coliseum that way. But the best way to get down there is, if you go to Union Station, there's a streetcar that goes directly to the exhibition loop, and it's real easy from there. So if you can get to Union Station, walk into Union Station, find the area where streetcars go from, not subways, and take that streetcar along the lakeshore over to exhibition grounds and get out at the loop. And then you got to walk a little ways into exhibition grounds to Coca-Cola Coliseum. Yeah. And that's where it is. And you know what? The best way to find it is smell for the shit and go towards the shit. Yeah, because the team is the shit. Is great. They're a good team. They're awesome. But also there's a horse stable next door. And, well, you can smell it. But, yeah, that's just part of the perks of going down there. Seriously, it's not a bad thing. It's just like a police horse stable. But, yeah, Coca-Cola Coliseum. Get there tonight. And they're opening the doors early at 5:30. Because they want people to come in and get acquainted with the facility and maybe buy some merchandise and buy some food. So, yeah, go on down there and get it. All right, let's see what y'all are saying in the chat right here. Trevor J., Commissioner of Fun, has his daily words of wisdom for us. Let's see what he's saying. As we start this day, we ask God to lead the steps, strengthen your spirit, and cover everything connected to us. May his favor open doors, his peace steady over our hearts, and his light guide our path. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and do the prayer right now since Trevor's inspired me with this, because this sounds like a prayer for us today, for the Raptor Freaks, for Raptors Nation, for the Toronto Raptors. And, yeah, we're going to need to strengthen our spirits and cover everything connected to us. Yeah, because we're going to need that energy tonight if we're going to get a W in enemy lines in Cleveland tonight. That's right. So let me get on this real quick. Dear God, oh great God above, thank you so much for all you've created. Thank you for life in my lungs and my breath in my body. Thank you for a roof over my head. Thank you for my family and friends. I love them so much, especially my grandmother who I got to see yesterday. I love her so much. Protect her and keep her with you as anything happens. I appreciate you so much. I feel so lucky today to have on the slate a doubleheader of amazing basketball with the beginnings of something and the culmination of a season and things that we've been doing with the Raptors. I ask you humbly to keep all the players for the Toronto Raptors and the Toronto Tempo and the Cleveland Cavaliers and Connecticut Sun safe on the court from injury, from any kind of problems in their lives, and just bless them all, even James Harden, please. make sure he gets good wings. But I just have to say also, I want you to protect all the people around the world, all the living organisms that you created, because they are yours and you created them. And we are wrong for destroying them. And you are the creator, and we've been destructors. And that's not the right way to be, humankind. We got to stop worshiping that. And we got to start worshiping the right God. And that is a God that created us all and that believes in love and unity and looking out for each other. No, there's too many forces out there dividing us, too many forces out there that are lying, too many forces out there that are absolute criminals that have power right now, and they should not. And I know that in the end, you're looking out for us and you will protect the vulnerable. You will protect the people that are being subjugated, and there will be some sort of justice served at some point. I appreciate you so much for all that you do. I humbly ask also that you find Scott Foster to give favor to the Toronto Raptors tonight, that he sees Scotty Barnes and he says, I remember when you said that to me, but we talked about it and we're okay now. And now I respect you, young man. And we have the same name. So, Scott, I'm going to look out for you, Scott. And that's what I hope happens tonight. Either way, God is great. All the glory to God. And my ego is not in this job. It is only in service of you to spread positivity, unity, and people to be together and share love for humanity, love for nature, love for basketball. And I appreciate you so much. Thank you. Thank you. I humbly have so much gratefulness towards you, Creator. Thank you. Amen. All right, there you go. Yeah, I saw my grandmother yesterday, and it was powerful. She's 103, and yeah, I, I'm, yeah, it's just tough. It's tough to see her this old, but either way, I love her so much. That's right. All right, let's keep going in the chat. Trevor's saying, "Happy game day. Let's beat Cleveland tonight." Yeah, the game plan is very simple. Shed was talking about it. He's like, "Man, I've loved playing in front of the Raptors fans the last 2 games. We're not gonna have that energy, but we have a game plan. We're gonna go in there and we're gonna keep trying to do what we did been doing on defense, and we're gonna just try and do the right things and stick together, and we're just gonna try and go get it." You know, one of the things that Shed said that was interesting in his practice interview, and this is something we said on this channel last week, is Darko came at the team after game 2. He did. He was mad at them. You know what? This is what Shed divulged yesterday. He said Darko came up to us after game 2 of this series, and he said, "Why are none of y'all tired?" This is something that I said on this channel. It's like, Raptors, if you're doing this right, you're supposed to be exhausted at the end of the game and really need a whole day of rest after the game completely, because that's why they spaced this out so much. No back-to-backs and even 2 days off in between games. And Darko gave them hell after game 2 because he said, y'all are walking around like you didn't do anything today. You don't even look like you're tired. This is not right. This is not how y'all should be after a playoff game. Y'all should be exhausted. Y'all should be bouchered. That's right. You should be bouchered, laying on the end of the court all like this. This is how you should be, Raptors. And if you're not like that at the end of the game, well, you didn't do your job. You didn't do your work. You didn't put in the effort. And in some ways, it's so simple. And I'm glad that Shed divulged that Darko was on them like this. There's some people that said Darko's too nice to them, too easy on them. But he said straight up, he said, if you guys aren't tired at the end of a playoff game, then y'all didn't play hard enough. And that's true. And we could see in the last game on Sunday, even though it was a low scoring affair and it was a slog, these guys were exhausted after the game. Exhausted. And when they talked to Scotty in the practice interview yesterday, and they asked Scotty, how was your day yesterday? What did you do yesterday? And Scotty was like, because they asked him, were you tired? And he just took it easy. He was like, yeah, I just stayed home. I didn't do nothing. I get the feeling that after that parking lot incident, not because of that, but more because Scotty is locking in while he's in the playoffs. He's not going out and doing stuff. He's just staying home. That's what he said yesterday. He said, I spent Monday with my family at home and I played some 2K and I didn't go out. And I think that that's smart. I think that that's a good mode to be when you are in the playoff season, Scott, because there's all kinds of stupid shit that can happen out and about. And honestly, you can be a little more insulated for your energy and your time and just keeping yourself around the very, very comfortable loved ones and your familiarities. You don't need any X factors of being out on your scooter or any kind of bullshit like that. So it's good that you spent the day at home with Millie and on the 2K. And actually, somebody went even further with the 2K questions. They asked Scotty, it was like, "Oh, so do you play on 2K? And did you play these guys and these guys?" And Scotty said straight up, "I'm not doing that anymore. I only play my career now." I get it. He doesn't want to run around in the virtual world of 2K and have jabronis running up to him, Scotty Barnes, I'm gonna play, and then they torch him or something like that. So Scotty is reverted on 2K to only playing the career mode style of it, and none of the versus online world thing where you run around and go to different courts and play people around the world. He's just playing his career mode now. Nothing that I'm upset about with what Scott said there. In fact, I think it's very wise of him to kind of get in the foxhole and not have any distractions and really use that recharge time when we're off from these games to spend it with the people that love him, like his mother, Alyssa, Millie, and Brian, and everybody else. Maybe Lloyd's around. I don't know. Nardo, whoever he's talking to, whoever he wants to interact with. And it's got you. I know you're not gonna go on Twitch right now, but I miss you on Twitch. I'll just say that. I do miss you on Twitch. Yeah, Scotty said some other things too that were very important yesterday. Scotty said that his most important goal right now is to help the team win at any way he can. And well, he's decided that his way to help us win any way we can is what he's been doing the last 2 games. So expect more of the aggressive, very strong Scotty, because his eyes have opened up to it and he's understanding to help the Raptors win right now. This is the mode he has to be in the most right now. That Giannis, I got the ball coming down the court, and everybody should be shitting their pants on the other team because they can't figure out or know what to do to stop him. And well, Scott understands the assignment. The assignment for Scotty is do whatever helps the Raptors and Darko win the game. And that may be some nights playing the playmaker and passing the ball around and giving more shots to Ingram and RJ, but may also be time to call number 4 and take that ball himself and put the job on his own shoulders. And I think that he's starting to understand the balance between being selfish and unselfish, and is figuring it out a little bit better. So I love that. Once again, Scotty's directive isn't anything specific. It's basically do the thing to help them win. And that's all that matters. That's all that matters right there. And I love that. I love that. Darko's so awesome. Darko's interview is fantastic. Darko gets so like kind of casual and fun. He's revealing different things here and there. He's standing for his guys. Man, I just love Darko. And well, I want to do the Raptors Redder of the day now because it's a very important one right here. I'm going to say this right now. Derpy McBurpy, who's kind of a troll on Raptors Reddit, not going to lie. Half the time they are pissing me off because they're saying stupid shit. But this post right here is him coming around on some bullshit from earlier this year, because I've heard Dirky McBurpy, which I can't believe I'm saying that name. It's so stupid. Diss Rajakovic at times during the season. He has been a critic of him. And well, let's hear what he has to say as of yesterday. This is the Raptors Redder of the day, Derpy McBurpy. Shout out to Darko for what he's accomplished so far. As a first-time head coach starting from the bottom, he's gradually helped this team go from 25 wins to 30 wins, then 46 wins, and clinching the 5th seed this year. He helped Scotty and BI both become all-stars this year by putting them where they'll be most successful. As his first time leading a team to a 2-2 series in the playoffs against a team who has a top 5 offensive rating, shows the strategic mindset and adaptability he brings to this team. We lost the first 2 games by slim margins. Then he made the adjustments to help the team dominate in the 3rd game. He believes in the guys even when they have shortcomings, and he's also showing the ability to make the adjustments needed when things don't go well. He starts with Pirtle every game, and yet he ends up giving Colin the big minutes when things don't end up working. You can call him a soft coach for not being more harsh on the players or their mistakes, but you can also feel the culture that Darko has built in this team throughout the playoffs. Colin Murray-Boyles rising up against Mobley and Allen, Scotty being more aggressive both ways, Shed doing an absolutely insane, gutsy 8-second violation play in clutch time. Just goes to show the passion and the heart that Darko has embedded into these guys. The passion and his skills were probably the most visible in Game 4, where both teams played the most abysmal playoff basketball I've ever seen, and we were statistically the worst of the 2, but we still won. When it comes down to bad team statistics, who ends up winning? The team who has the stronger determination, hunger, and perseverance. That is what Darko has built into this team, And that is why we won. If you also listen to some of the post media, you'll also learn that despite him not calling out players publicly when they play poorly, players have mentioned that he does address them as a group or individually about their mistakes in private. I'd rather have a coach that does that than humiliate their own players like Ime Udoka does. The fact we've gotten this far without IQ, no shade to IQ, reflects that he is capable of leading this team. Yes, there's been some absolutely infuriating losses this season, but there's also been a few surprises wins as well, such as the one in OKC. This all comes with the learning process, and Darko has been growing just as much as the rest of the team. And the fact we've gotten this far in the playoffs shows that. I don't know what the future holds for him on this team, but credit where credit is due. We probably wouldn't be where we are today if it weren't for Darko and his ability to coach this team. Him and this team have already exceeded so much expectations this season and alone, and I hope they continue to do so as the playoffs continue. Yeah, this is a fantastically written post, and it exemplifies exactly what we're talking about. You know, no coach is going to be perfect. There's going to be foibles and weirdness about every coach, but you want the net to be positive and going towards all the important things. And that culture is so important. The ability that we're seeing now from Darko to adjust is fantastic because this is the thing that I'd hope for, that, you know, that he would be a great playoff coach because he is on his toes and he is thinking and he is in the moment during the games and he's making the right decisions. You know, Darko went over this in his practice interview yesterday, talking about why the coaches huddle out on the court and the players huddle on the bench. Have y'all noticed that? When the Raptors do their timeouts, Darko walks out in the middle of the court with Jama and Pat Delaney and Coco and all them, and they do their little huddle out on the court and they talk there. Darko said that he listens to all of his coaches because all of them are watching and they're more eyes watching the game and they have more different ideas. And basically, they brainstorm and talk about it amongst themselves out on the court. And maybe James Wade has something they saw, Mike Batiste, somebody saw something, and they're adding it. And maybe that's what they're kind of coming together with their things to think about. Meanwhile, Darko on purpose wants the chance for the Raptors players on the bench to communicate without the coaches involved and do stuff with themselves with leadership, like Scotty and Brandon and Garrett and everybody on the bench kind of going and getting their own organization of talking. And then near the end of the timeout, he'll come in and he'll do the play and they'll add in the consensus kind of ideas from the players and the coaches at that time. And then it's like everybody kind of gets voices heard and organized together in separate ways, but then coming together. And that's an awesome way to do it. I don't think I remember many coaches doing it this way, at least in the Raptors history, but it's kind of cool to see. That's why they does that. And he kind of explained this yesterday, is that like he wants the players to have their own space to figure things out for themselves and communicate and show leadership away from the coaches at the beginning of the timeout. I think this is genius, honestly. I think this is genius because look, it's important. The coach could be a dictator and he could be the my only way my way or the highway. You're out of here if you don't do what I say. But Darko really is a populist. He takes all the opinions, the insights, and the observations of the coaches and the players, and he distills them into that last moment on the bench in the timeout. And he really does get the knowledge of hive mind and the IQ of the whole guys, of the coaches and the players involved in these decisions and adjustments and observations about how the game is going and what's happening. You got to love that. You got to love that. Man, this idiot had the audacity to ask Shed a question about the 8-second violation. This idiot, I don't even know. I don't think he was Toronto press. I think he was just press in general. But he said to Shed's face, I think you fouled Kate Cleveland on that 8-second violation. And Shed had to say, I don't think I did, to his face back. But yeah, who the fuck are you, clown, coming in there? And well, don't matter what you think, buddy, because the game's over and the W's for Toronto. So it's like, yeah, who the hell are you coming in like that? But who the hell is coming in like that? RJ Barrett. That's right. A very comical moment at the team practice interviews yesterday when Shed was on the podium. He'd been up there for a couple minutes and RJ barged into the interview room. Say, hey, what are you doing up there? What are you doing up there, Shed? I was like, what do you mean? You're going tomorrow. It's like, no, man, I'm supposed to go today. I'm supposed to go today. No, you're going tomorrow, RJ. No, we just talked about it. I'm supposed to be going today. RJ gets mad. He's just not really mad, but it's kind of funny. Then he goes and he sits down in the media room with the reporters. He sits down in there and watches the rest of Shed's interview. But no, he was wrong. RJ was wrong. He's actually scheduled for today to do a pre-game interview today. So Shed was right, but it was hilarious. And then they started to ask Shed questions about RJ with RJ sitting in the room. It's like, what is so great about RJ? This is so great about RJ. And then somebody asked Shed, what do you hate about RJ? And Shed answered it. It was kind of funny. He said, I hate when RJ has the same hair as me. Like sometimes we'll show up to the game and he got his hair done just like I did. And I feel like, oh man, we have the same hairstyle. I think that's hilarious. He said that. There's probably some truth to him saying that, but it's so stupid and casual that it's kind of like, okay, RJ can only laugh about that. That may be something they joke about, honestly. That may be something they joke about. But yeah, it was a really good interview day yesterday. Lots of good stuff talked about, and expect the RJ interview today. Oh, it's so funny, man. Yeah, Josh Lewenberg. I got to give some major props to Josh Lewenberg right now. J. Lou, man, I appreciate you so much, man. Out of the media people, you really are one of my favorite people. Not just because we have a shared love for Survivor, the TV show, but also, man, you're doing good work right now. Josh Lewenberg yesterday at the media day for the Raptors, he asked over and over again to Darko, Scotty, and Jamal, and even with RJ in the room, because he's writing an article on RJ, and he put it out last night about RJ's change with the defense this year and how he's become a better defender and become a better player. And salute to you, Josh Lewenberg, for putting out that good propaganda, putting out the truth about RJ. You know, Scotty said the narrative about RJ is changing because he's changing it. Well, Josh Lewenberg's writing the narrative. He's putting it out there from from TSN. And he's letting everybody know, yeah, the RJ of the Knicks is gone. This is RJ of the Raptors, and he's evolved, and he's a much better player. So salute to Josh Lewenberg for writing an article highlighting RJ's growth and getting better as a player and how he's improving. That is fantastic work, Josh, and I appreciate you doing it as a Raptor freak and as a Raptor fan. I seriously do, man. That's a huge job by him. So, yeah, going over a little bit about the Raptors Media Day at practice with Darko, Scotty, and Jamal, and not RJ. That was so funny, man. Of course, we had an interview with Sandy Brondello and Monica Wright Rogers. And man, this was a very interesting interview. There's a lot in it. We got more clues about how this team's going to be. You know, Sandy is very interesting coach. She's definitely a player's coach. The players love her. We were right. She's completely a draw to bring players here that people will want to come and play for Toronto because Coach Brondello. And, well, she kind of let it out of the bag, her philosophies. And I'm going to say this, and this is, I don't want to make this sound like insulting, but there's a lot of parallels between her and Darko. That her mentality and what she wants from the team is kind of similar. Her idea on offense is she wants to learn these players. She wants to understand them, but she wants to have an open thing for them on offense where they can explore and try and develop and get better at different skills. So she's not fixed on the offensive side of things. She really does have do what's fun for you and go towards what's successful. And don't be afraid to experiment and maybe even try. She touted that the roster that Monica has built that she's going to use is very versatile. That to her, she wants bigs that can shoot outside, and she wants littles that will screen and help do some of the big stuff too. So it's very much about versatility for the Toronto Tempo and allowing, you know, bigs that can shoot threes and little players that are all around players that are gutsy, that may go in and get rebounds and do all kinds of stuff that's not stereotypical to guards. So she let that out of the cat out of the bag. As much as she's going to be open to flexibility and suggestions from the players and the way they play on offense, she is non-negotiable on defense. And she's basically sounding like Rajakovic when it talks about what she wants from them on defense. She wants them to be all out. And if they're not doing it with the effort and the way that she wants, they're not going to play. So there are parallels here. In some ways, it's a symptom of how basketball is evolving, and that basketball coaches are realizing that trapping and aggressive defenses that are very energetic and very disruptive are the way of the future for basketball. And that we're seeing that trend overall in the NBA itself. And well, it's happening in the WNBA too. And Sandy Brondello has these rules for the tempo players. You have to play all out. And if you don't, you're going to be on the bench. She made that very clear yesterday. Yeah, I loved hearing this interview. I find Sandy so charming. And she's just delighted with this. You know, she was very clear that this Toronto Tempo training camp is not unlike any of the training camps she's done in the past for teams like the Liberty and the Mercury. That, you know, you could think this is because this is so brand new. In some ways, maybe people are not taking it as seriously because it's an expansion team and some of the pressure is not there to be competitive and win. That it could be kind of like a fun kind of, well, let's take this not seriously, kind of lackadaisical kind of week at training camp. But she said, no, it's not been like that. She's made them work hard and she's made them do a lot of stuff. And she said that the intensity and the work in this week of training camp for Toronto Tempo has matched past years in her WNBA coaching career with other franchises and the energy and how they did things too. So that's a good sign. That's a good sign. Yeah, apparently the players love to hang out with her after practice and just joke around. Like Monica's watching their practices and she's amazed at how the players just love Sandy. And after the game, after practice, they often linger around and hang out with her and they all socialize and chat and they're just laughing their asses off because Sandy's so funny. That's what I heard. That's what Monica was saying about it, though. But yeah, it's really exciting stuff. This is a fantastic day, guys. We got the Tempo's first ever game, and we've got a game 5 for the Raptors in the playoffs. It's amazing, man. Yeah, happy preseason, Trevor. Indeed. Let's go. Yeah, I wanted to go to the Tempo game today, but I'm glad I'm not because, you know, this playoff game's going on too. It's kind of unfortunate that the Raptors playoff games are coinciding with the preseason for the Tempo games, and double duty watching is going to be difficult, but I'm going to try and do my best to keep up with both games to be able to react to both of them tomorrow. Don't even get me started on Survivors on at 8 too. It's just like a triple header of things that I all want to watch at all the same time at Wednesday night is what it looks like. That's right. Yeah, Trevor's saying y'all can all watch the Tempo game tonight on the WNBA app or NBA Canada app. There you go, NBA TV Canada. Yeah, it'll be on free on the WNBA app. You just got to sign up and get the app. And yeah, it's fantastic stuff. This is going to be a really good start to a new journey. It's going to be fantastic. I love it. All right, Trevor's brought up that the Spurs are moving on to the second round with a win over Portland last night. Very, very happy about this. This is the first playoff win in a series for the San Antonio Spurs franchise in a long time, guys, in a long, long, long time. And it must be nice for Spurs Nation to feel this. And I'm so glad they put Portland out. Fuck you, Portland. Get the fuck out. Get the fuck out, Portland. And I'm glad that Wemby played. Of course, it looked like Julian Champagnie is the guy bombing it out for them. And Dylan Harper off the bench. Yeah, it's amazing how Julian's so good for the Spurs. Like you guys said the other day, Julian Champagnie, wow. He's been doing some amazing stuff for them. But yeah, Portland's out, thank God. And the Spurs move on. That's what I wanted. That's right. That's right. Seymour saying, I don't fuck with Blazers are out. Somebody put that Blaze out. That's right. IDF Blazers are out. IDF, is that what you said there? Okay, I like that. I like that. Seymour saying, stay hydrated and wash your damn hands. All right. Thank you, Sheriff. For the PSA, he's a public safety officer, and he wants y'all to wash your hands, is what he's saying here. Fiercey's saying this. Good morning, family, and happy game day in reference to the Raptors and Tempo. Thank you for the words of wisdom, Trevor. That's right. Thank you, Trevor, for blessings to the Jones family, all the Raptor Freak families. That's right. Fiercey's saying, great, just what we needed. Scott Foster. She's got the face palm. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. We're going to have to see how this all works out. I'm not just going to immediately think this is a problem because seriously, I think that Adam Silver was extremely impressed with our crowd on Sunday. I bet you really serious is because he wants that energy around the league. Other places don't get like us. And in some ways, we make the league look good. So there can be a logical thinking that, Adam's not going to try and hold us back anymore. It could very well be that the Raptors go into a new period of time coming up where a lot of the stuff that's been against us is out of the way all of a sudden, and we're allowed to be the best team that we can be without holding us down. I'm serious. I got a premonition about that in the last couple of days that, there is a logical reason and a way that Adam Silver embraces the Raptors being a top team in the league perennially, and he's not trying to hold us down anymore. That he's just accepted it, and in some ways, he lets us run with the big dogs from now on, and we are a championship contender year in and year out. It would be smart, Adam Silver. If you want more enthusiasm, more passion, and more energy like the Raptors crowd at Scotiabank Arena, you be smart to lean into this and allow the Raptors to succeed as they best can. Seriously. And don't get in their way anymore. No more ref hit jobs. No more treating us like a second class team in this league, because you know that we're a first rate organization and you know that the way we do things is the right way. And you can allow us to be naturally who we're supposed to be. I'm not saying help us. I'm just saying stop getting in our way. And maybe tonight, Scott Foster will not be in our way. John Goebel and those guys on Sunday did an extremely good job for a very difficult game to referee, one of the toughest games this year to referee. Curtis Blair. Yeah, they did a great job. And, I'd like to say the same thing about Scott Foster after the game tonight, but all I ask for is fairness. And there can't be any weird shit where Scott Foster's throwing Scotty Barnes out with 5 minutes to go in the game or some shit like that. That's what I'm saying. So I'm leaving it open to the realm of possibility in my own head that the NBA may start looking at us as a very marketable team and somebody they don't care if they are very good and at the top of the league, because there's a lot of passion and excitement from Toronto, from us, the fans. That's right. That's what I want to see. Yeah. Fiercely saying Scott Foster has a nickname. Forgot what it is. It's the Extendor. It's the Extender. Like he's brought into series to make them 7-game series so that they make more. Yeah. Yeah. Like they'll do that on he'll come in like if it's a game 6 and one team's facing elimination, that team who's facing elimination safe. He's probably going to help them and they'll get to a game 7. It's that kind of action with him. Yeah. Yeah. It's the extender, not the finisher or the terminator. Anyways, let's play so darn good that the refs can't help them. Yeah. One of the things I'm worried about is there has been a lot of trash talk about the Cavs in the last few days since Sunday. And a lot of people are putting that soft label on Evan Mobley. And we don't need this. Much like I don't want the Raptors fans to boo James Harden because it feeds energy to him. Draymond Green getting on a podcast and calling out Evan Mobley for being soft. This is not good because in some ways it's going to motivate this guy to try and change that narrative. So I fully expect Jared Allen and Evan Mobley and to come out in a different way, because in some ways their name and their reputation's on the line, and they may be a lot more forceful and a little bit more aggressive and more motivated because of certain things. Harden and Mitchell, they're going to do what they're going to do, but in some ways they don't feel this as much because they're kind of bona fide in their own different way. And I posted something in the Discord about James Harden's stats in a game 5 in the playoffs in his history, and it's horrible. It's like James Harden averages like 12 points a game in a game 5 in the recent years. So I don't know. We're just going to have to see. I think that the thing that's in favor for us is that we have got confidence right now. We have figured out some things about how to solve the Cavs and kick their ass. And I mean, some of it could be just as simple as Colin and Scotty strong arming them and just taking it to them. And I expect to see that kind of attack. But there was also allusions to things where, the way basketball turns itself in and out to strategies, and they've changed according to how the Kenny Atkinson and his defense adjust to what we did on Sunday. It could very well be also, instead of a Scotty bully ball show, it's a Brandon Ingram going off for almost 40 points because he's finally hitting his shot, and they adjusted and they're trying to cover up Scotty and Colin. And all of a sudden Brandon woke up and he's a badass for us, and he wins the game tonight for us. So what I just said, remember that just in case that's how it goes down tonight, because every game is different. Just like Darko said, there's adjustments, there's a different setting, there's a different feel to every game. And it could very possibly be the versatility of the Raptors and the ability to go, RJ's a steady beat to help us out there. And when we're down, if Brandon may be taken away, that means Scotty can go more. But if they take Scotty away, maybe Brandon's able to go more again. So we'll just have to pay attention to this. Another thing that I would watch for tonight is Jacoby. I feel like Jacoby is due. I think that him getting 2 goose eggs in a row, I think that Walter is motivated to stop missing. It looked like in the game on Sunday, he was short. All the shots were short of the rim. And that is fatigue or excitement or just not having his legs under him. So hopefully Jacoby got it figured out. And, that's the thing. Even Shed said it in the interview yesterday. Kobe missed open shots he would 9 out of 10 times make on Sunday in the game against them in game 4. So I expect Jacoby to kind of wake up. And, I don't know if he'll have a huge game, but I expect him to make like 2 or 3 threes for them tonight, for sure. For sure. Something like that. Yeah. Not saying, fuck the Blazers. Celtics are frauds. Yeah. This is something to talk about right here. Nick Nurse and the Sixers went into Boston again and beat them again last night. Yeah. They were facing elimination. The Celtics could have put the Sixers out last night, but Joel Embiid, wow. In some ways, I'm impressed with him. I can't always hate Joel because in some ways, this is amazing. This man had an appendectomy 19 days ago, and he goes out and gets 33 in the game against the Celtics last night. That's fantastic. And this is a weird series where I don't want to root for either one of the teams. Somebody's going to lose, and I'll be happy. But in some ways, also, if the Sixers going to beat Boston at Boston, I'm going to be like, yeah, Nick Nurse, former Raptors coach, Raptors champion coach. Go on then, Nick. and to boot, Kyle Lowry got 2 minutes in the game too. So Kyle got to get out on the court for the Sixers as they beat the Celtics last night and held off getting eliminated. Because if they had lost yesterday, well, Nick Nurse is out. And we know how Nick is. He's our coach for so long. He's just such a competitor. And I love this. Take it to Jason and Jalen and extend this series as far as you can, Nick and Tyrese and Joel. Yeah, in some ways, I can be a little bit of a Sixers fan in this situation because it's like 2 evils. And well, sometimes you got to root for 2 evils, one of the evils. But if the Celtics had put out the Sixers last night, I would have been bye-bye, Sixers. Ha, ha, ha. I would have been either way. So either way, we don't lose here, Raptors fans, in a series between the Celtics and the Sixers. Somebody will lose, and we'll enjoy that either way. It's like they put them out, if the Sixers upset the Celtics and put them out, what a weird roller coaster for Boston this year. Yeah, we're not taking an off year. We're competing for the championship all year. And then they get Jason Tatum at the end of the year even. And they fail and they go out in the first round. Woo-wee, what a storyline that would be. But Nick's still got to win 2 more games, and they're both elimination games for the Sixers. So it's crazy, man. It's crazy. Yeah. Fiercey's high-fiving Seymour. I love it. Kareem saying, is anyone else nervous? No, just me. Ugh. Dude, go garden or something like that, man. How's your cedars? Go take a moment with nature, Kareem Thomas. Go sit outside and just ponder life in general. And get in touch with the natural world, man. Maybe you can get centered here. No, man. Listen, don't be anxious. Don't be upset. You in some ways have no control over what happens tonight. This is something we got to do. This is a serenity prayer. And say, man, I got to figure out what I can and cannot control. And Kareem Thomas, you can't control the Raptors. We can help them when we're at the game and we're here in Toronto. We can yell and we can help them. And we damn for sure did help them in these last 2 games. But they're on the road. They're on their own on this one. Some of us may be at the game. Like Trevor said he was going to the game today. Trevor, you in Cleveland today? You going to go to the game today? You said you would. Let us know if you are going to the game. But yeah, Shed and Scotty understand this. In some ways, these guys like playing on the road. They've really loved playing at home, obviously, the last couple games. But this whole season, in some ways, it kind of seemed like the Raptors enjoyed playing on the road more than at home this overall, the regular season. because they had a very successful road schedule in this year. And I think that in some ways, hopefully that will be something that helps them tonight, is that they've been a very good road team. In some ways, it's about focus. In some ways, it's about knowing you got hostility and energy around you that's not for you. Some people can thrive in that. Some people can take the inverse energy against you and really go above and beyond. And well, let's see if Scotty's got that in him. Seriously, Shed, he's looking forward to it. He's like, I know that crowd's going to be against us. I know it's going to be hard to win in there, but I'm looking forward to it. And all we can do is be ourselves, play as hard as we can. We play together on defense and we communicate. This is part of it. Since this series started, the Cavs have kind of been going like this away from each other, and we're coming in together. And that's in communication and being on the same page, working as a unit. This is part of the reason why we won the last 2 games, is because the Raptors are coming more and more gelled and even more confident, because they're finding ways to beat the Cavs in little micro actions in the game, little transactions in this possession and this. They're finding out more information because they're very smart. And this may be the difference for why we're going to be a good playoff team versus average NBA team, is that we are not like other teams. First of all, we got dogs that want to win. We got very intelligent, high-level thinkers and quick adjusters. We got somebody like Colin is an epitome of that. There's certain things when it's a 7-game series, it's not just one and done. There's a lot more work to it. And we may have more capability than the average NBA team because of Darko, because the brain trust of his coaches, and the structure of our team that Bobby built with Masai, and the players and their character and the way they work. So I would say your stress is natural. Anxiety is natural, but I would say take a step back and be like Trevor and I. Let's have faith in the Lord above, and that things are going to work out here. What happens if we lose today? Well, in some ways, that means we still have a chance to win the series, but we have to win the last 2. But if we win, wow, Cleveland's in big trouble, and they're probably going to lose the series on Friday. So that's the way to look at it right there, KT. In some ways, the worst thing could happen. Cleveland beats us. Well, the series is not over, and we still have a chance. Yeah, that's what it is right there. So either way, let's go get it. And I know these guys are going to work hard and play hard because they figured it out. The playoffs take a certain level of expenditure, of energy, and getting after it. And well, you saw Shed do that with that 8-second violation. That's the kind of stuff that'll get us there. I love the story of Jamal getting the call from Kelvin Sampson. Apparently, after he made that play with the 8-second violation, his old college coach of Houston, Kelvin, texted him and said, "I'm so proud of you for doing that move." He said, "That's what I taught you, and that's who you are." That's a beautiful thing, y'all. Seriously. And it really meant a lot to Shed because, in some ways, that's like validation from somebody that absolutely you put in the highest esteem. And that's that great coach, Sampson of Houston. So, yeah, that's a big deal, man. All right, real quick, y'all. Street goods on Canadian goods. Today, I'm talking about vinegar, Allen's vinegar, because you can use clean vinegar, a white vinegar, to clean your house, right? And well, I want Jakob and Colin and Scotty and the rest of the Raptors, RJ and Brandon, to clean the glass. And you can clean glass with vinegar. You can use vinegar as a cleaning agent. And Allen's is a fantastic Canadian company. Of course, they have apple juice. Of course, they have cranberry juice. I've showed those products on this show before on the Straight Goods on Canadian Goods. But Allen's white vinegar, well, you can use it to clean the boards. And I hope that Yak and them are cleaning the boards real nice, just like Allen's vinegar would clean the boards too. So there's your Straight Goods on Canadian Goods. Allen's, it's a great Canadian brand, guys. This is such a good Canadian brand. If you see Allen's on anything, buy it. That's what I'm saying. Support your country. That's right. Elbows up. That's right. Let's go. All right, let's keep going. Fiercey's saying this. I need a suggestion for the tempo emoji. Raptors are that, but what should the tempo be? It needs to be symbolizing their character unless Nins adds one. Well, maybe we could request that. Raptor Freak Nins, could you maybe derive an emoticon for Tempo Land? Maybe we need a Sandy emoticon or just the logo of the Tempo added to our YouTube chat here for members of the channel. Yeah, we gotta figure this out. Maybe there's a musical note or something for right now, a treble clef. I don't know. What would be a good one for just a general emoticon that's available right now? I don't know. I don't know. This is a good suggestion, Fiercey, and we're definitely going to do this. We'll definitely do some stuff with this. We're going to develop more in our tempo culture. That's right. Seymour's got the love for the eye candy. I love that. I love this long distance relationship y'all have. It's amazing. Fiercey saying Marina playing against Asenya tonight. Yeah, yeah, that's a drama. That's a storyline right there. That's a storyline. There might be a lot of fun with that. Maybe a lot of fun with that. And I'm sure that it'll be weird for them, but it'll also be very exciting. I'm sure it's very exciting for the tempo players. And well, hello, Brittany Griner. Hello, Aaliyah. Hello, Rivers. Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting game tonight. And I wish I could give my full attention to it and there wasn't a playoff game going on, but that's just how it goes. There's a playoff game for the Raptors. And I'll do this in the future because I'm going to cover both teams and they may be butting over each other like this tonight. Priority is always going to be not necessarily NBA over WNBA. I'm not going to do that, guys. It's going to be the state of the season, because the WNBA may be in the playoffs round when we're in preseason for the Raptors. Well, priority will go to the team that's at the higher level of the season. If it's a regular season, if it's postseason, if it's preseason, well, the priority today is playoffs. And well, preseason is not more important than playoffs. So that's why the priority today was for the Raptors. But it can be flipped if it's the opposite in the way I do the show. That's right. That's it right there. Seymour saying Kiki Rice, TikTok is full of guys shooting their shot. I know Kaysen has a burner account. Laugh out loud. Dude's fighting for the net. Kiki's such an interesting player, man. She's going to be something. Like, she's really mature and really, really ahead of her years. And, she's going to wear number 1, I believe. I think we got the numbers for the players, and maybe we should go over them real quick. Yeah, I'll do that too soon, but let me just look at the numbers real quick. Trevor posted this yesterday. And I appreciate you, Trevor, for posting that post with the numbers. Yeah. All right. So Kiki Rice is going to wear number 1. Laura Juicy is going to wear number 2. Marina Mabry's number 3. Number 4 is Liz Balogun of Nigeria. Number 5 is Christy Wallace. There's no 6. Nobody's wearing 6 for them. Number 7 is Tiani Key. Number 8 is Niara Sabali. Number 9 is Madison Roedke. Number 10 will be Maria Conde when she arrives. Number 11 is Kia Nurse. Number 12 is Lexi Held. Number 13, Aaliyah Nye. Number 14, Temi Fagbenle. Number 15, Dara Mabry. Number 20, it jumps all the way to 20 then, Slim Sykes. 21 is Isabel Harrison. 22 is Julia Lamont. 31 will be Nina Milic. And 33 is Kitty Laxa. Yeah, and Aja Kane is going back to school. She's going to go to play for SMU for the season in the NCAA. And Maria's not coming, man. I don't think Maria Konlandikova, Masha, who played for Lynx last year, is interested in playing for the Tempo. I don't think she's coming. All the overtures are that she's not going to be a Tempo. She may have got drafted by us, and we have her rights. If she does come back, she has to play for us. But I think she's not coming. I really don't think she's coming. She hasn't made any signs on her social media about the Tempo selection. And there's really kind of the way that the Tempo are handling her makes it seem like she's not in the picture. We'll have the rights to her as an international player, but I don't think she's playing the WNBA this year. So yeah. Sandy talked about Kiki Rice yesterday at the practice interview or the media day interview, saying that she's going to be a leader right away because she has a strong voice and she's knowledgeable, even as a young player who's a rookie and a champion from UCLA. But also there's going to be that balance because it's like there's a lot of leadership voices on this team, and they all need to be heard in their own way. And well, Kiki's going to be expected to be a leader even as a rookie. So like I said, it's very Jamal Shed, very, very Jamal Shed. She's going to have responsibilities and a voice, but she still has to be considered a rookie and still just figuring out the league and learning it, right? right? Let's see. Seymour saying Castle receiving threats, and Wemby is next because he refused to shake Denny's hand after the game. Man, this is all a mess. And the rich and the people at the top can be blind to Israel and the bullshit of all this, but the real people, the people around the world, understand how barbaric the Netanyahu regime is, and the war crimes and the genocide that they're taking. Nobody respects this. Nobody likes y'all. And you can't say that I'm anti-Semitic because I don't like y'all. I'm anti-genocide, and I'm anti murdering women and children and elderly and thinking it's fun. I'm anti pillaging people's houses while you chase them out and stealing all their stuff from their house. No, y'all are criminals. Y'all are a fucking criminal nation, Israel. And there may be good people that live in Israel that are against it all, that are being held under against their will, just like good people in the United States in this issue with Trump right now. I get that. And I'm not going to say all of them are bad, but your whole country is represented poorly in the world today. And y'all are very much one of the most evil countries in the world. And that's just how it is. And, if you don't respect that and you don't want to acknowledge it, you have the right not to shake somebody's hand. I'm going to be honest. When they did the anthems in the arena on Sunday, I sat in my chair during the U.S. anthem. Herbie says, if you're willing and able and want to, you can stand for the anthems. And I chose not to stand for the United States anthem because I think it's in poor taste that there's an anthem that talks about bombs bursting in air when there's an unjustified war in Iran where there are innocent people getting murdered and killed by a terrorist country called the United States. And no, I'm not going to salute the flag or stand for the Pledge of Allegiance or the Star Spangled Banner or any of that bullshit right now, because American idealism and what democracy and what America is supposed to be is not being what they are right now. And that's the thing. That's the thing. If you get your shit right, I'll respect your anthem again and I'll stand for it, Americans, because I'm American too. I've got an American passport. I'm a dual citizen, but I'm disgusted with the United States in an unjustified war, bombing fishermen in the oceans around South America and Central America, invading Venezuela to steal their oil. Yeah, what are y'all, plunderers and pirates, Israel and United States? There's no respect for this. And anybody who went to the Cleveland game today from Canada, well, be safe, please. And I hope God's watching out for you. Because honestly, you can't write this narrative that y'all are just because you just have the mightiest weapons. You guys are fucked up and you're all wrong, Israel and the United States right now, and what y'all have done to Iran and Lebanon and other places. Y'all are barbaric pirate pieces of shit. And Wemby was right to not shake your hand. And anybody who gets mad at him for that, death threats to them, fuck all y'all. Y'all are the evil ass pieces of shit. And you can't justify any kind of thing. Oh, we need this for defense. They would wipe us off the earth. We're just the mightier of the two forces. We can kill them all because it's just how it is. Motherfucker, bullshit. Y'all manufactured this shit. Y'all are genociding, and y'all are fucking criminals, stealing people's lands, stealing people's houses, and stealing their lives. So fuck you, Israel. Two-finger salute to you. And I damn for sure I'm proud of Wemby for not shaking the hands of a fucking former IDF soldier named Denny Abdia. Fuck that motherfucker. That's right. That's what you get. You don't get no respect, you piece of shit. This face of fucking genocide. Fuck you. And fuck the Trailblazers and fucking get out the fucking playoffs. You and the Mavs, you sorry piece of shit teams. That's what I say to that right there. There you go. There's a little Friday freak out on a Wednesday. How about that? Yeah, I'll put on top of that and say, yeah, good for Wemby. I like him even more now. Fiercely saying this. I'm not nervous. We got this. I will pray and send them positive winning vibes. Yeah, that's the right attitude. In some ways, remember, we can only be the fans and watch, and hopefully they'll be successful. But either way, we're true fans. We stay with them, win or lose, and we look at the whole big picture. We don't crash out and get upset if they lose tonight. We just understand it's part of the learning process for a young core, and they are advanced, and they are doing very well already. They got 2 playoff wins, and some of us thought we were getting swept out, right? So either way, whatever happens tonight, Raptors Nation, hold your head up high with respect and love your team regardless of the outcome, because they're not done even if they lose tonight, and we got to hold it together and stay strong for them. But I have a good feeling they're winning tonight because honestly, we're a matchup nightmare for Kenny Atkinson and the Cavaliers. And they don't know how to handle us at this point. We can do what we fucking want. And Scotty is the guy who's in charge. If Scotty wants to do whatever he wants on the court, he will do whatever he wants and we will win. That's it. In some ways, Scotty's got to realize it's in your hands, along with Colin and Brandon and RJ. You guys have the power to dictate this game at this point. It's not James. It's not Donovan. No, you guys have chopped them off as far as you have found a way to close them up. And Mobley and Allen are not effective enough. Scotty, you're the most potent, powerful person in this series now. So you direct how it goes in game 5 tonight. It's in your hands, Scotty Wayne Barnes. It's in your hands. You can do whatever you want. Go do it. I'm waiting. I'm going to love it. I'm going to be like, yeah, that's my guy, Scott. That's my boy, Scotty. That's what we've been saying tonight because he's going to take it to the hoop and he's going to throw it down on their heads. Trust me. That's what's happening right there. That's right. Medved Ted's in the house. A 905 MVP. Let's go. Let's go, Raps. They're not better than us. We got this. That's exactly right. Medved Ted's seen this. He can feel the vibes. He can feel the tide turning. He can feel it just like in a single NBA game, there's runs. And the Raptors got the run going right now, but in a bigger movement way around the game thing. This is similar, like I said before, to the energy with the Milwaukee series in the Eastern Conference Finals of 2019. Sure, they beat our ass twice in Milwaukee, but then we figured something out and we clicked, and they never had an adjustment to fix it back the other way. And they have not adjusted to fix it back the other way. And I have no faith in Kenny Atkinson and the Cavs to get their shit together to fix and adjust in the right way to deal with what we are presenting as a problem for them. And that's a big part of it right there. And I know Medved Ted can see exactly what I'm talking about. He knows what I'm talking about right here. He sees it. That's right. Randolph is here. Good morning to Randolph Phillips. Game, victory, blessings. I love that. Beloved Raptor Freaks fam. Treasures obtained by wickedness and ill-gotten gains will not profit. What profits are righteous and moral integrity in one's daily life. Wow. What profits are righteousness and moral integrity in one's daily life. This is kind of what I was just talking about, man. There's literally people going into people's houses in the south of Lebanon and just taking all their stuff and trashing their house, trashing their gardens, destroying their buildings. You know, these are barbaric, fucked up people. The IDF and Netanyahu's Israeli army, they're fucked up people. They are absolutely horrible people. They torture people. They have a thing that they do in Israel where they have food set out for the Gaza people, the Palestinians, on certain days and certain times, and they have them run across a field and they shoot at them like Squid Games. They have a literal real-life Squid Game going on in Gaza right now, where on every other day or so, they allow food aid to come in and people have to gamble their lives running across a field with people taking pot shots at them for fun and laughing. And they're just trying to feed their families because they're starving them out and they don't let people come in. They literally shot the guy who drove the truck that brought the water to the people in Palestine to try and help them. They shot the aid workers that were driving trucks into Gaza to help them. They shot like 2 of them. They were driving the trucks. There was just people that were trying to be nice. Aid workers from other countries. They're shooting Red Cross workers. They're shooting journalists. They're press. They're supposed to be off limits. They're targeting all kinds of fucked up shit. They are a barbaric fucking regime, Netanyahu and his piece of shit fucking bullshit he's doing. You know, they are fucked up, man. They're the biggest evil in the world. Seriously are right now. And they think that they're the most holiest people in the world. No, you're the most satanic, evil fucking people in the world, Israel, right now. You really are. And if you have a problem with what I just said, well, you are totally blinded by your faith and your devotion to fucking genocide, you piece of shit, is what I would say to that. And on that note, I'll say blessings to the Phillips family. God is great, and God will figure this all out. And there is no one true God for one religion. God morphs and changes for different people around the world, and they are all valid gods. And nobody says who God is for everyone around the world. And if you're like that, if you hardline like that, you're fucked up and you're part of the problem. We need to have an open ability to freedom to worship And if you want to worship Vishnu, you want to worship Jah, you want to worship Jesus Christ, you worship who you want to, because that's freedom, and that's freedom of religion. And some people want to conform everybody to be just one place, Zionists or whatever the fuck it is, Christian or whatever the fuck it is, Islam, whatever it is. I don't give a shit. If you hardline one way and everybody has to be as like-minded as you, you're fucked up and you're part of the evil. Yeah. Blessings to the Phillips family and all the Raptor Freak families. Righteousness and moral integrity. And, the stuff that I just talked about, there's nothing like that. That's the other end of the spectrum. That's right. Can you believe that they shoot people trying to get food like that? That's messed up. It's messed up. Fiercely saying this, I don't believe every player shakes hands with those from the opposing team after a game. Why should he be obliged to if he doesn't feel like it? It's hypocritical. There's a long history of this in the NBA. Some of this is the unwritten rules again. We talked about that recently with the shot that Jaden McDaniels made, pissing off Nikola Jokic, the unwritten rules. Well, in some ways, you taught when you're a child, with Fiercely Jr., good sportsmanship. And you're taught that you should go and shake the hand of the opposing team after the game and good sportsmanship. Now, in the highest levels of sports, this doesn't always happen because there are bitter rivalries. There are games that are so intense and so competitive. People just have a hard time coming to the point to shake somebody's hand after the level of competition. And I mean, that's why I feel like it's the right of people. Once again, we're talking about freedom. We're talking about rights to choose. We're talking about, no, you should not be forced to do something. Should you be forced to kiss your creepy uncle on the lips at the family reunion just because people in your family think that? No, you should have the right to say, no, I don't want to kiss my creepy uncle on the lips. If you're a young girl or something like that, you know what I'm saying? It's consent. It's the ability to choose and have the freedom of your choice. And if Victor Wembanyama don't want to shake somebody's hand, that's his right. There was an ugly incident a long time ago. It's very famous where the Detroit Pistons would not shake the Bulls' hands. When the Pistons bad boys finally lost to Chicago and Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, they walked off the court without shaking their hands. And that was a huge story at that time that everybody said, well, the Pistons are just poor sports. They're bad dudes. They just are not conforming to good sportsmanship. That was a big deal. And this was in like 1990, 91. So, this has always been an issue to agree. I don't think that it gets spotlighted or too much, maybe just because this is a specific situation, obvious, a very reason for why Wemby would not shake that guy's hand. But, this happens all the time still. We see Darko running off the court without going anywhere near the other team or shaking them, just saying, hey, bye, I'm out. And players will do that too, especially if they're very intense and they don't want to shake the hands of anybody on the other team. It's more commonplace at this point. I think there's just more of a spotlight on this one because of the outlying story around that certain player from Portland. That's it. And Wemby is a very conscientious person. And honestly, he's got the right morals and attitudes about the world. Victor Wembanyama impresses me not just for his stature and his basketball skills. He impresses me as a young man and his ideals and what he stands for. And in some ways, this is another case of it right here. That's right. I don't think they should have to shake their hand if they don't want to. Just like I shouldn't have to hug my second aunt if I don't want to touch her. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's rights, right? You have to have rights here, right? Let's see. Naco the Nacho is here. Good morning, Gerald. Good to see you, my guy. Jeremy Grant is pro-Palestine. That locker room's got to be awkward. Yeah, that's the whole thing, man. And I feel like, once again, Denny gets overpushed because of certain forces around the NBA. There's definitely very strong Zionist kind of underlying force in the NBA, for whatever reason, whether it's Adam Silver or whether it's just the money and the owners and the billionaires of the team. They give him way more of a spotlight. He's kind of a manufactured golden boy. In some ways, he's not that great. They really have elevated him to be more of an all-star. And this may be very political. This may be very kind of some fucked up, insidious way, because seriously, Netanyahu looks at him as like the pride of Israel. And everything you do, Denny, is a win for our country and stuff like that. It's that kind of attitude about it. But yeah, the motherfucker symbolizes genocide and murdering babies, setting them on fire, basically, because they do that, and they're so fucked up. They don't use just like regular warfare anymore. They're using Palantir. They're using drones. They're sending little flying things over into Gaza places and setting people on fire from far away like cowards. And they're setting women and children on fire in houses. That's fucked up shit like that. Nobody should be liking Denny or his because this is a thing. It'd be one thing if he was against his country's policy and what they're doing, but he embraces it and he supports it openly. So it'd be one thing. He could be an Israeli and be somebody that denounces the genocide, and that would be fine, but he's for it. So fuck him. And that's the thing. Like our friend Ahmed the Goat, who's in here, he lives in Israel. And he's a Raptor Freak trivia champion. But he has said, yeah, I don't agree with this war. I think it's messed up what my country's doing in the government, and I'm not with it. And there's a lot of young people in Israel and a lot of older people, too, that are protesting within. They don't show that on TV. There are good Israelis that are true Jews that are absolutely believe in the real tenements of Judaism, that is not an evil religion. It's absolutely a great religion. And they fight from within, just like the protesters in the United States protesting Trump and his bullshit right now. So you can't ever lump everybody in as one thing. But if they tell you their views and their opinions on it, like Denny has, then you understand, yeah, he's for genocide. And well, Jeremy Grant, maybe you should talk to him real quick. Yeah, I'm all about that. Smooth saying this. Embiid had a huge game staving off elimination. That's fantastic, man. I mean, I won't ever deny that Joel has a hunger and a drive to help his team win. I've always thought that. It's just he doesn't have the body that's willing. But I guess he got himself back from appendectomy. He's probably got staples in his side still. And he's doing this. This is insane, man. This is insane. And it is kind of impressive, honestly. I'm a Joel hater. I don't like Embiid at all. But in some ways, he got some respect from me for doing that yesterday and holding off elimination for his team. He got some respect for me on that one. Seriously. Fiercely saying this, sending blessings to your grandma, Lex. Yeah, it's just been a lot of strong changes since the last time I saw her when I visited her. And, things are changing. Let's just put it that way. I don't want to just, I don't know. They say that she could have a variance at times still. So I don't know what's going to happen exactly. But man, it was tough to see her yesterday. I love her so much. It's crazy. Like, she saw my dad and I, and she said our names, and she still recognized us, even in that state, which is, it's tough. It's tough. All right, Fiercely saying this. Portland's locker rooms got to be off, hence why their horrible display yesterday. 35% shooting, 23% three-pointers, 3 starters with respective 5, 7, and 8 points. Unacceptable, but I don't care. Man, honestly, their Portland season has gone way more successful than I thought it would this year. Not going to lie. What happened to them in the first game of this day of the season? Their coach got arrested by the FBI. Chauncey got picked up by the FBI like on the first day of the season, and they had to switch to Tiago Splitter all of a sudden. And honestly, that's got to throw a whole kind of curveball in your season from the start when you're switching head coaches that quick and right then. And honestly, Splitter did a good job. Honestly, I thought that Portland would be out of the playoffs, would not be involved in a playoff series at all, and would be one of the bottom 5 teams for the season. So to me, they overperformed. And they did really well. And to get a full playoff series, getting through the play-in, that's actually a huge success for them. So, yeah, I'm glad Spurs stopped them now. Yeah. But, man, honestly, this has been a successful year for Portland in some ways because, honestly, I thought that they would be nothing this year. And they went above and beyond in some ways. Let's see. Seymour's saying this. Boston's GM is GM of the year. Is that what they just announced, that Brad Stevens is the GM of the year? I mean, in some ways, you can make that argument, considering this was supposed to be a down year with no Tatum, and they still were near the top of the East. Maybe they give the GM of the year to Stevens, and they don't give the coach of the year to Mazzulla. That would be good, because I don't think Coach Joe should be coach of the year. I think that they should give that to either Mitch Johnson or JB Bickerstaff. We'll have to see. Yeah, Nako's saying Boston rejected a trade for RJ in the 9th pick. Thank God. Yeah, this stupid rumor. This came out last year, too, and they talked about it. They were going to trade Derek White for RJ. but they didn't want to. They thought Derek White was worth more than RJ. And now Raptors fans are posting the stats for Derek White in this series, and he's averaging like 8 points per game. And they're posting RJ stats. And they're like, yeah, you thought this guy wasn't as good as this guy. I mean, I like that kind of propaganda warfare where we look good because, like, yeah, you didn't want him. But in some ways, I'm so glad he didn't get traded, obviously. And I don't like hearing about RJ trades that were suggested or may have happened. I don't believe this shit. Half the time, I feel like the trade rumors that come out are total fabrications. They're not really real. And in some ways, they're made to kind of, make a player maybe feel like, oh, Bobby tried to trade me. You know what I'm saying? It's a warfare. So I ignore this shit. And even this dumb Derek White RJ trade rumor that's been around for a year. I heard it last summer. I never believed it. I felt like it was warfare, and it was one of those dumb little things that they were using to kind of hurt RJ's feelings and say, oh, the Raptors would want to trade you and trade you for Derek White and stuff like that. So in some ways, I wanted to ignore this story, Nako. But the aspect of RJ performing better in the playoffs than Derek White is nice to take a victory lap on, for sure. For sure. Kaz is saying this. Good morning, Lex and Rat Free crew. Good morning to you, Trucker Kaz. And you know what, Trucker Kaz? I'm going to give you a dunk this morning. You know why? Because I realized something. And something you're an underrated Raptor freak because honestly, I realized this watching my stream back yesterday that you are really helping me out. And I want to reward you for this. I'm going to give you like 10 dunks right now. I'm going to give you 30 points on the dunk chart because I feel like I have not been properly recognizing you for what you're doing, Kaz. So you're on 33 now. You just jumped from 3 to 33. And the main reason why I'm doing this for you is because you have been so helpful with bringing information to me. It's like you've been going and finding out stuff for me as I talk on the show and bringing the information in the comments. And I've overlooked this by accident, but I caught it and rewatching the stream yesterday. I'm like, holy crap, you need to be giving more dunks to Kaz because he's helping you. He's fact checking and he's coming to bring you the information when things are not totally clear. So I just want to recognize you for a second. Seriously, I appreciate this, man. You really are a big help to this channel, just like Trevor, Monique, and Fiercey, and a lot of people. So, Kaz, I want to recognize you right there. That's right. Fiercey saying, salute to Jay Lou. Salute to Jay Lou. That's right. Josh Lindbergh, you are awesome, man. You're one of the good ones, man. You ain't no Michael Grange. Fuck Michael Grange and his bullshit. Yeah, the media room is so funny. You know what? I want to talk about something that y'all may not have noticed, and this is kind of scary and sad. Darko at the beginning of one of the interviews last week made note of somebody's absence in the media room, and that's Doug Smith, guys. I don't think Doug Smith's doing very well, guys, because he's not doing his normal job covering the Raptors right now. He is not present in the press room for a couple weeks now. And I don't know if he's doing ye old mailbag or even tweeting anything on Blue Skies or anything right now. There's no signs of this. I think that Doug's in very serious health problems right now, and he's had to step away from his work. So in some ways, I want to do a blessing and a prayer for Doug Smith of the Toronto Star, years ago. But honestly, I love Doug Smith. And the reason why is because he's been a historian and a documenter of the Raptors history as a journalist since the beginning. And in some ways, if he's not doing well right now and things are changing with that, he's going to be missed. Seriously. He's not always good for the Raptors. The whole thing with him and Vince Carter was a whole mess in the middle of the 2000s. And, he also pisses me off sometimes. But honestly, he's more of a good thing for the Raptors than a bad thing. And I just hope that Doug's all right. I'll send prayers and blessings to Doug's family and his coworkers and all the people that care about him around the media, because I don't like hearing this. And his absence is felt. And I don't think that we've realized that he hasn't been there recently, but he hasn't. And that's messed up. I don't like to hear this because, he's a part of Raptors family. He's a part of Raptors history. He wrote We the North, the book that sits behind me on there. And it's like, we don't want Doug to be gone, man. We don't want Doug to be gone. So, yeah, y'all pray for Doug Smith, seriously, because I don't know how bad it is right now. And it's kind of scary that he's not there because honestly, he would be there right now because it's the playoffs and this is the most intense part of the year. So yeah, prayers for Doug Smith. I have no idea what he's going through right now, but I know he's absent, and it's no good. It's no good, man. It's no good. It makes me sad because I like Doug. I do like Doug, even though he pisses me off sometimes. Yeah, let me keep going. Yeah, I just wanted to make note of that. Seymour Sandis, I'm so happy we kept Scotty over craft dinner. Yeah, that was never really a realistic thing. That summer was so weird. Hanging out with Scotty on Twitch while people came into his Twitch stream saying, we're going to trade you for Kevin Durant was the stupidest thing in the world. And I'm glad that we blocked the words Kevin Durant from the Scotty Barnes Twitch chat. Like he blocked those two words. He even blocked like shams and different things too. Because people just were bombarding him with this bullshit. I told Scott that whole time, man, we're not going to trade you for Kevin. Don't worry about this. You know, Masai Ujiri loves you, bro. And he would not trade you for Kevin Durant. And most sensible, sane Raptors fans were not with that trade because they looked at the ages and they're kind of like, well, Kevin's at the end of his career and Sky's just starting his career. Does this make any freaking sense? No, it doesn't. So we're not doing it. It's kind of like the thing. And, you know, I feel like Scotty should feel very comfortable and safe because honestly, we would be stupid to ever even consider trading him. And the only thing is like that I worry about with him is his own decisions. But, you know, there's a lot of signs that he's a real one for us and that he really is like completely passionate for Toronto Raptors and that he is bought in and that he wants to see this through. That trophy right there, he needs to go get one of those for us too, just like Kawhi and Kyle and Pascal. So, you know, it was funny. I heard an interview with Danny Green recently, Raptors champion Danny Green. And you guys know the story about Danny coming back to Toronto to get his championship ring finally after a few years after because the pandemic messed everything up. And Danny came back and Scotty was on the team at that time. And well, Scotty saw the ring and the jacket that Drake made for all them, the OVO jackets, the bomber jackets that he made all the Raptors champions that had all their names and all kinds of cool stuff on it with patches. Well, Scotty saw that jacket. And when he saw Danny come in, he said, I want your jacket, Danny. Danny didn't give it to him. Scotty said straight up, I love this jacket. I want this jacket from you. And he's like, you know what, Scotty, I'll give you that jacket. So he took Danny Green's championship OVO Drake jacket. Now, Danny said this recently on a podcast. He said, I'm expecting Scotty's when he wins it. When he wins the championship with the Raptors and Drake gives him a jacket, Danny Green wants Scotty's jacket when we win a championship with Scotty. So that's an interesting little story. Some people I just caught recently that I didn't realize. You know, Scotty asked for Danny's jacket. He has that jacket still. And, you know, Danny just wanted to get the ring. He didn't care about the jacket so much. He wanted to get that hot butter popcorn that ring is. But, yeah, he expects Scotty's championship jackets in return when the second Raptors championship comes. So there you go right there. There you go. All right, let's keep going. Neil's here. Good to see Neil checking in on the chat. And Reggie's here also. Thank you guys for supporting the channel. Fiercey, Neil, Reggie. You guys have been strong supporters for my channel for years now, and that does not go unnoticed and is not unappreciated. It is very appreciated. So Smooth saying that Minnesota is without Anthony Edwards. If they advance, San Antonio will stomp them. Spurs in 5. Yeah, the Nuggets Timberwolves series has been maybe the chippiest series of all the opening rounds. Like, who would have called that? The most weird, crazy animosity kind of series is Denver and Minnesota. Yeah, I think Nikola has been part of it this time, which is crazy. Yeah, the playoffs have been so chippy in a lot of ways. But, you know, in our series, it's been chippy, but very gentlemanly in some ways too, which is I like that. I like that the Cavs and the Raptors have been good sports and been playing hard and very physical, but none of the extracurriculars, no kind of weird, dumb stuff. You know what I'm saying? Other series, this kind of stuff is happening. Oh, yeah. Playoff intensity and fracas and different things like that. That's right. Yeah. Smooth saying this. Cavs have motivation tonight. Expect the Cavs to try and finish the Raptors early tonight. Toronto has to be prepared for this. Reggie, first of all, The way you structure sentences is always wrong in these ways. It's a pessimist. You're saying that expect the Cavs to try and finish the Raptors early tonight. No, I don't expect that. I don't expect that. I expect this game to be exactly what's going to be, but I'm not going to forecast this. I don't think the Cavs have the wherewithal to try and finish us early. I don't think they have that anymore. In our structure of our team, we're never a team to count out. We could be down by 15 in the fourth quarter and we could still try and win the game. It's kind of like how we came back from being down 8 with 4 minutes to go on Sunday. So it's like, no, man, come on. Why you write these kind of comments? This expect the Cavs to try and finish the Raptors early tonight. Fuck that. They ain't doing shit like that. This is a fairy tale story you're trying to write there. Nah, we're prepared. Trust me. Listening to them at the interview, they understand exactly what they got to do, and they're going to go out there and do it tonight, and they're going to be successful. Watch, and it's because I have confidence in them because I see the confidence in their faces from understanding this series now. These guys aren't shook. There's a lot more pressure and a lot more stress on the Cavaliers side of things right now, whether it's their coach or their players. We, in some ways, are, like we said before, we're playing with house money. Everything we do is above and beyond what was expected. And in some ways, that's freeing. And in some ways, very much easier to work in instead of the stress of like, oh my gosh, if we mess up, we're in so much trouble. You know, we lose the first round. We really did it again. James, our lives. I know, Donovan. I know. What they're going to say it again about us in the playoffs. I know, Donovan. I know. There's so much more pressure on them. And we have no pressure. In some ways, we're supposed to lose in Cleveland, right? Well, what if we don't? Cavalier world goes crashing down, is what I'm saying right there. That's right. That's right. Seymour saying, Trevor J, stay safe on enemy grounds. Yeah, I think he's going. Are you still going, Trevor? Did you get to Ohio? Is what I'm wondering, man. Did you get to Ohio, players? Yeah. Do you remember? Yeah. Let's see. G saying, what a night of basketball. There's a lot. Yeah, it's a big time night tonight. Yeah. Reggie saying Sixers Celtics both won on the road. Hard to call this series. I think Boston's going to end up winning it. It's just I like Sixers pushing it to like a 7-game series. That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. I mean, if it is a 7-game series in Boston, you know, Nick Nurse just proved he could beat them in Boston. Well, we'll just have to see. I mean, I would, in some ways, in a 7th game with Philly and Boston, I'd be rooting for the Sixers because that's the underdog. And well, in some ways, there is a Grote and a Raptors championship coach that we can root for on that team against the Celtics. In some ways, you know, if there's a 7-game series in that series and the Raptors beat, not the Raptors, the Sixers beat, former Raptors beat the Celtics for the bubble 7-game series with OG shot and how that went down. It just barely lost to Jason and Jalen in them in the bubble series. In some ways, that's a revenge for Raptors history with Nick Nurse coaching the Sixers and Kyle Lowry on the bench. So, like, in some ways, I would love to see the Sixers beat the Celtics because that's a little bit of revenge for some of our guys from that bubble 7-game epic series with Boston and Toronto. Right. Let's see. Fiercey saying Sixers can only win if Embiid plays. He did have a great game yesterday, but rested a bit in the third quarter to come back in the fourth. Yeah, I mean, they're going to have to load manage him very closely. And honestly, he could be a quick pull. He could play for a couple games, but then they're like, no, you can't play at this point, man. You're all messed up. You're pushing your body beyond its limits, Joel. I mean, I don't expect him to be for the long haul. You know, if he can play a few games for them, that's amazing. He shouldn't be out there probably. I mean, they didn't even rush OG. OG didn't come back at all. Why didn't we play OG after his appendectomy in 2019? If Joel can come back and do this in 19 days, that's what I'm wondering at this point. How did Joel did this? And why was OG not available to Nick Nurse in 2019 then is what I'm wondering. Maybe he had a more serious appendectomy. I don't know. It was weird. Why couldn't Anunoby play in the Raptors championship run? Because Joel's playing last night. That don't make no sense to me. That's right. Reggie's saying this, Celtics won both games in Philly, so it's conceivable they win game 6. Yeah. I mean, it's conceivable, whatever. We'll just have to see how it all lays out. In some ways, I don't have any stakes in these other series. Other than I love the Spurs. And I'm glad they moved on. But otherwise, say let the chips fall as they may. And honestly, if the Magic put out the Pistons, well, we win tonight. Well, well, the old Lex can say stuff like paths can open up for teams all of a sudden in the playoffs, even when you don't think they have no chance or they shouldn't even be in the playoffs. Some people say, oh, they're not even a playoff playing team, the Raptors this year. What if the Raptors are in the Eastern Conference Finals this year all of a sudden? What will you be saying then, experts, and your bullshit? Because the path is starting to open up that this could be a very, very strong possibility. But we need to win tonight, and the Magic need to finish the deal with the Pistons. And boy, oh boy, we get the Magic in this next round. What do you think's going to happen in that round? Seriously, that's going to be an interesting series. But we did beat Orlando a month ago by 52 points in Toronto. I was there. I saw it with my own two eyes. That's right. That's right. Thank you to Seymour. That's right. Trevor's saying, yes, I'm here. We stayed in downtown Cleveland, just a short walk to the arena. There you go. He's down there near the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That's right. You go on then, Trevor J, and you rep us right. That's right. You go support Mr. Number 12, Mr. Murray-Boyles today. That's right. You go get that. And this is their jersey today, y'all. Once again, this is the jersey they're rocking on the court tonight. That's right. That's right. Let's keep going. There you go. There's Jamal Shed on blast. Tempo equals pulse equals beat. Yeah. Yeah. Heartbeat. Sure, that could work. Fiercey, you want to make the Tempo's emoticon a heart? Tempo. Boom, 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 boom. That's pretty good, actually, Fiercey. That's pretty good. If you want to do that, it's also symbolizing heart in the game. And Marina Mabry. That's right. That's right. Seymour said this, considering the season the Blazers had, should Tiago be the full-time head coach? Chauncey, you failed them. Guys, man, it's really on you. Yeah. I think Splitter's got the job. I think he's been successful. I think that the players have liked him. He's one of the few international coaches in the league right now. And, I think he's got the job. I think he's got the job. I think that he's done well, and I think he's gotten pretty good performances out of that roster. They have kind of a talented roster on the down low too, though. They really do. Drew Holiday, Robert Williams III, Shaden Sharp, Tamani. They've got some very interesting pieces out in Portland. And guys I would focus on and make more the franchise face than a certain individual we talked about earlier. Is what I would say. Yeah, Chauncey, man, they're coming at Terry Rozier even crazier. They got new charges coming at Terry, and they're really trying to nail him. He got past the first round of charges, but they have a whole new round of charges for Terry Rozier apparently on his gambling exploits. Speaking of the NBA, and let's go over the new system that Adam Silver had announced yesterday, kind of informally, but I think we get the gist of it. So let's go ahead and talk about this real quick because the NBA is changing the rules about tanking. And this is a big time thing, man. This is a very big deal. So basically, NBA has proposed a new anti-tanking draft reform called 3-2-1 lottery. 3-2-1. And basically what they're doing is they're flattening out the lottery odds across the 18 teams that don't really make the playoffs, right? So let me get more in detail of this, okay? So the lottery expands from 14 teams to 16 teams, and non-playoff teams in spots 4 through 10 receive 3 lottery balls. So if you finish anywhere from the bottom 4 to the 4th worst to the 10th worst, you're going to get 3 lottery balls in the expansion, in the draft lottery. And they're going to do this right away. They're going to do this year. They're not going to wait next year to do this system. They're going to try it out this year, guys. The bottom 3 teams, like if you're one of the worst 3 teams, you only get 2 lottery balls in that. So that in that self makes it so that you really don't want to be a bottom 3 team. And that incentivizes people not to tank. Because if you finish normally as one of the bottom 3 teams, you are penalized. You have 1 less lottery ball in the draft lottery. You only have 2. And the teams that are 4 through 10 from the bottom, they have 3. So that is the mechanism to stop teams from trying to lose so hard to get the top pick in the draft. Is if you're in the bottom 3, you actually get less of a chance to get the top pick. That's smart. It seems like that'll work. We'll have to see it in action next year and see if it will really kind of make it come through with the right effect to stop all this losing on purpose bullshit and holding guys out of games and stuff like that. It's in theory, this seems like this is going to work. Now, they also say that the teams that get eliminated in the play-in get lottery balls too. So like the worst two teams in the play-in, the ones that get eliminated in the furthest out bracket of the play-in, will get 2 balls in the same draft lottery, just like the bottom 3 teams. So they have the same chance. So if you're a bottom 3 team, you would have the same chance of getting the first pick as a team that got eliminated in the 9-10 matchup in the play-in. And then the team that loses in the play-in in the 7-8 game and is eliminated, they only get 1 draft lottery ball. So they do have an outside chance to get the number 1 pick, but they only have 1 ball. Some teams have 3 balls, some teams have 2 balls, but there's no percentage breakdown and tiered going down to the bottom. So if you're the bottom 3, you only get 2 balls. If you're the 4 through 10, you get 3. So I think this might work, y'all. There's other little nuances to it too. Like the bottom 3 teams are penalized with fewer lottery balls and a draft floor of the 12th pick. So the highest the lowest they could draft is the 12th. If you're a bottom 3 team, you will have at least a 12th pick or higher. But you can fall all the way to the 12th pick. All other lottery teams can fall as low as the 16th pick. Well, that's obvious because there's 16 teams. So the playoff teams will not be involved in this. This will really be non-playoff teams and teams that were eliminated in the play-in tournament. There's also another rule they came up with yesterday that no team can win the top pick in the draft 2 years in a row. So if you win the number 1 pick in the draft this year, you're ineligible to get it the next year. It's interesting. And also, teams cannot protect picks in the slots 12 through 15. So yeah, they're not allowed to do some of the things they do with trades and protecting picks and stuff in this system. There's new rules for that. And that makes sense because, these teams are going to try and manipulate the new system to game it for their advantage in weird, innovative ways, especially the Knicks with their cheating asses. But we'll just have to see how this works. I'm sure they're going to have to test it because I'm sure the teams will be creative and they may figure out a way to rig it still. Also, consecutive years or no team can be in the top. No team can win the top pick in consecutive years or claim 3 consecutive top 5 picks. So this is kind of like the Jack Armstrong rule. He's kind of been pissed that the Wizards get a top 5 pick every year, right? Because they're so shitty. So apparently the part of this rule is if you're in the top 5 picks, you can't be in the top 5 3 years in a row. So you got to be bounced out. So if you're really, really bad year in, year out, you can't have a top 5 pick for 3 years in a row is basically some of the new rules. So this is interesting. This is interesting stuff. They've also made a thing called the sunset provision, which is actually an out clause in case it doesn't work, that they can discontinue this system in the year of 2029. So they're going to try it for 3 years at least. And if it doesn't work for some reason, they will get rid of it and they will vote whether they want to continue or not with it at that point. So they're going to test it, see if it works. And if it doesn't work, they will nix it and get rid of it in 2029. So yeah, that's kind of it. I think that he did a good job here. I think that once again, they have a draft lottery because they do want to manipulate moving players to certain teams by making a lottery seem like it happened. Cooper Flagg, Victor Wembanyama, Patrick Ewing. Yeah, there's a long history of directing players to certain teams and rewarding teams that got messed with, like the Pelicans when they got Anthony Davis taken from them, or the Cavs when they had LeBron taken from them, getting first picks in the draft. So Adam Silver still has that ability to manipulate who gets the first pick in the draft on the down low in this system because he kept the lottery. But the odds of the lottery balls have completely changed, and there is an incentive to not be in the relegation zone, as they put it. They call it the relegation zone, which is the bottom 3 teams in the league. So you don't want to be one of the bottom 3 teams of the league because you're not going to have a better chance to get the first pick. So I think in some ways it checks all the boxes, including the one where he doesn't want to not have control over possibly giving the first pick to a franchise of his choosing. I'll be open and honest about it. That's exactly why there's a draft lottery. They don't need to have a draft lottery. They could just have everybody pick where they finish, and they don't need to do this. But well, there is a draft lottery because in some ways, Adam Silver does want to write general storylines like Victor to the Spurs and Cooper to the Mavericks, shit like that. Yeah. Yeah. Let's keep going in the chat. I love seeing all the comments today. Seymour saying when the Cavs were up 2-0, they were national heroes. Now that the series is deadlocked, the hate is spewing idiot casuals. You know, it's funny because they're still covering it from their perspective. And, but a lot of people around the league that are fans are respecting the Raptors and are like, whoa, this is a fun team to watch. And wow, look at Scotty Barnes and look at Colin Murray-Boyles. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. A lot of people know the narrative of Harden and Donovan Mitchell in the playoffs, and they're clowning them for this. They know that they've made the playoffs every year, but they've never won anything. And this is a big thing that a lot of average NBA fans that aren't with Cavs or Raptors Nation are clowning on right now. The James and Donovan are just doing what they do. They're fading into the hedge like Homer Simpson when it matters the most. And well, I like that. There's the media perception and how they want to portray and cover our series and very centric around the Cavs narrative. And then there's the fans, what they identify and they look at and what they care about. And what they care about is what I just said. They're like, dang, the Raptors crowd is amazing. Colin Murray-Boyles and Scotty are badasses. And James Harden and Donovan Mitchell are James Harden and Donovan Mitchelling is what they're kind of saying right now. Oh, and Evan Mobley and Jared Allen are soft. These are kind of the headlines with fan nations and NBA fans. But NBA media is going to put it all from the perspective of Cavs Nation and Cavs, the team. Yeah. G saying this, Temi talked about Masai and her connection to him and how she was able to have Nigerian food 3 days in a row in Toronto and how good the food is here. Yeah, we kind of covered this yesterday in covering the media day. Temi Fagbenle is going to be one of these vets. In some ways, I would guess that maybe her comparison is Serge. Like if I'm going to make a Raptor comparison for easy people to kind of figure out, she may be like our Surge kind of on our team, a forward center that's older and kind of not a very vocal in the face leader, but is a leader and has a voice and is somebody that kind of has a fierceness. The other thing is Temi, she could very well be our enforcer, guys. She could very well be our enforcer. She has years in this league. She's a tough lady. And she kind of understands the physicality of the WNBA and things like that. So we'll have to see if Temi is kind of the enforcer for this team as far as the the role I'm talking about, like RJ for the Raptors right now or Serge in the past. But yeah, she's come to Toronto and she loves it. In some ways, it's like she said that Toronto's very much like London, and that makes it very much home for her because she's very at home in the UK, in London, England. But here in Toronto, there's a lot of parallels with the diversity and the culture and a lot of the things that you can find. In fact, she said, the stuff that you can find in Toronto, you can find in UK, but you can't find in US. So that there's a lot of points scored with Temi with Toronto because of that, because we have things in restaurants and food that you can't find in most US cities, but you can find in London, UK, and in Toronto, Ontario, which is pretty cool. I like that. I like that. Fiercey saying this. I find it interesting that Jeremy Grant has been on the second unit in the playoffs. I don't follow them. Did he regress that much or is he being punished? I have no idea. I don't follow him either. To me, Jeremy Grant was on his way to becoming almost an all-star in years past, right? Because I remember that. I don't know. Maybe it is something stupid like, political on the down low in the locker room. Maybe the thing we were talking about earlier. I mean, that's stupid. I mean, I think Jeremy Grant's a fantastic player. And if it's a thing where you got to choose him or a genocide guy, I mean, why aren't you playing Jeremy Grant is what I would say. I don't know. I would be like that. I'd be like, yeah, bench that other guy instead and start Grant is what I would be saying. Could be a bit of both, eye candy. Yeah, it could be a bit of both. Seymour saying he did come out with full support for Palestine and Denny is the star. So, yeah, that's what we're kind of saying right here. That's kind of what we're saying right here. That's right. Let's see. Kaloy's here. Good morning, Kaloy. I hope you and Santino are doing fantastic this Wednesday. Let's go get the W tonight, right? It's Bobby's job to explore trading for great players. We know how our front office works. They gauge the hell out of the market. It's a no biggie. Honestly, I don't think we do a whole lot of trading talk. I think that half the time it's people answering the phone here and not calling other people. Honestly, if there was any trade proposal with the Celtics and Derek White and RJ Barrett, it could have very well came from them. I don't know. I don't believe this shit. I think that Bobby and Masai, the way they've always worked in our front office, is they're very methodical and they plan everything ahead of time. And once again, I'll say when people have to make trades, that means they fucked up and they don't have the right person and they're trying to switch them out. We've done such a good job of nailing our picks and getting the right personnel in the first place. I don't think we call around for trades as much as some Raptors fans think we do. I don't think we do. Because it's kind of like Bobby would be like, no, we're good. Like, look what I did. I got this guy this year, number 12. And like, look at him. He's amazing. Did we need to do something different? No. And like people said, we're so much more happy we got Colin Murray-Boyles than Common Malawach in the draft at this point. Some people on Reddit are posting the list of all the times the Raptors fans got mad at the draft pick and they were wrong, whether it's Jalen Suggs and Scotty Barnes or Common and Colin Murray-Boyles. And I mean, the lesson here is that we don't know better than the GMs and we need to shut the fuck up and just let them do their jobs. But once again, trades are for teams that fuck up in the draft process, that fuck up in the free agency process, that don't build their team right, and they have issues on their team, and they've got to change their team because of that. We don't have to make a lot of trades. If we make a trade, it's because we're going for a home run on the stretch run towards a Larry O'Brien, and it's Marc Gasol coming to our team. So, the whole idea of trade machine channels and the Raptors content that really focuses on trades so much is stupid to me. Because this whole time, our front office, since Masai was here and Bobby with him, has been doing the job right the first time. And trades are makeups for mistakes. So, yeah, I don't even believe this shit. I mean, I'll bet Bobby gets calls all the time from around the league. And maybe he does look into ideas that maybe are like, I wonder if I could do this. And he calls somebody. But I'll bet you it's a lot less than the average Raptors fan thinks it is. I'll bet you he is not worried about trying to trade people because he feels real confident with what he's got, right? Right? If there's a need, okay, I'll trade somebody and boom, we got Trace Jackson Davis all of a sudden. He'll listen. I was like, okay, we need another big. All right, I'll try and get somebody. Trace Jackson Davis. Here you go. But for the most part, he's not trying to make monumental switches like Scotty Barnes for Kevin Durant. That don't make no sense, right? Don't make no sense at all. Boom goes a dynamite. That's right. Fiercey's bullseye and clapping for Kaz. That's right. You know what? I need to respect that more. And when Kaz does something like that, I definitely got to reward him. Fiercey's saying this. I was wondering in reference to Doug Smith because they did send him well wishes in the broadcast a few weeks ago, and then Darko last week. No details were shared, but wishing him well. Yeah, I mean, Doug is getting up there. And I mean, I don't know if his lifestyle has been the most healthy. He's a road journalist and he spends a lot of time in bars, I'm sure, after games and just hobnobbing with different friends and reporters and people from around basketball. So, I mean, his lifestyle is his choice. I'm not going to judge him for it, but who knows? His health, I just want him to be okay, honestly, because he's an important person in the Raptors media. He really is. He's an important person. And we don't want to hear anything bad about Doug Smith. We really don't. We really don't. Trevor's saying this. RJ and Jacoby did game day interviews this morning. Cool. They did do them. All right. So they're out. So RJ did get his interview. I'm glad because he was pissed. He really wanted to do the interview yesterday. But yeah, he got his interview this morning. All right. I'll watch it afterwards. It's not really good for me to try and watch it and do it on here. Yeah, Kaloy saying this. Exactly, Lex. This is why I like the front office paying up front for our first five and have a good relationship with them. Scotty sees that we are committed to getting the players to build around him. Yeah, he's only been encouraged. When we made the switch from the Fred and OG and Pascal era to Scotty, he had input in putting some of the guys around us. I mean, Scotty was in the draft room when we drafted Colin Murray-Boyles. He was in the room with Bobby Webster and Masai when they made that call for number 12 at number 9. So he's been involved in a lot of the decisions. They very much made Scotty a part of shaping this team. And that totally makes him feel more ownership of the whole thing because he's been involved in that part of the process too. So yeah, Scotty's definitely been asked questions about, well, what do you think of this guy and this? And there was even stories of I think it was Shed or Walter or somebody. They came in for their tryout for the Raptors, and Scotty was sitting in the room watching them and giving notes to Bobby during pre-draft workouts in OVO Center. So Scotty's got a real investment in this and really does care. Really, really does care. Yeah, I like the fact that they've paid these guys. And some people get mad at Jakob's contract, IQ's contract, RJ's contract, but we got to lock these guys down because the success in the NBA is continuity. And if your players work together, they need time to grow. And you don't need to keep switching parts in and out because you lose some of that gelling and that continuity and that familiarity that you build over time. NBA teams barely ever traded guys in the 80s and 90s. Players would stay on teams their whole career, and the teams were better teams for that. The Bulls of the 90s were the Bulls of the 90s because they weren't switching major players out on the grand scale all the time. It was gradual change. And sure, John Paxson shifted into Steve Kerr, into Bobby Hansen, and maybe Horace Grant turned into Dennis Rodman eventually. But the main players and the main kind of idea, what they were doing with Phil Jackson, Michael Jordan, and Scottie Pippen, stayed true through the whole decade of the 90s. And that's what we have to understand. Trades are not good for your team. Trades are not necessarily the best way to get better. Sometimes trades are necessary because of dysfunction. And sometimes trades are because, you're just bored and you need to do something to shake things up. You should never have to be in those kind of states. You want to be in a state where your guys are growing and going the right direction. And then you don't need to do that stuff half the time. That's the thing I'm saying right there. Yeah, I'm glad they have them locked down because we want security in having players that are together for a long time and growing together and building together. That's a big part of it right there. Yeah, Kaloy saying, while accounting fans are whining, it's a relationship builder with our star players. Exactly. Y'all can go ahead and look at the money. You can look at the salary cap, but realize we had the capologist as our GM and head of basketball operations. He was the wonderkind. In his early 20s, he was the biggest expert on salary cap issues in the NBA ever. And none of y'all know how to balance the Raptors roster and salary cap like Bobby Webster does. And any kind of issues with RJ, they're coming up with him and his contract and his extension. Well, I trust Bobby way more than any idiot on social media, Reddit or Facebook or Instagram or any other place spouting off about how we should do our cap and how we should make moves and how we should do this and do that. Bobby knows way better than y'all, and he knows it to the cent, not just the dollar. And that's the thing. He knows how to steer the ship financially right. In some ways, the pressure for him is to make a successful team and the rules of the NBA today with the ownership group above him with Pelly and Rogers kind of directing him to probably run a certain way also. Empty roster spot all year, right? So we got to understand Bobby's in a particular situation that he only knows best himself uniquely as an individual. And none of us understand what it's like to live on the moon and be in his job position as easy as y'all think it is. And you think you know how to do it better than him. You don't, because that man was teaching grown men as a young man how to do the other GMs around the league. He wasn't even a GM at the time. He was in the NBA front office. And he was basically a specialist for the NBA to go to each of the teams in the NBA and teach the GMs how to do the salary cap. And that's the man who's in charge of our team, Bobby Webster. So trust Bobby. Come on now. He's the capologist, cap genius. And he's been this since the mid 2000s. He's had this knowledge. And he's only grown in wisdom and practical usage of it and part of running the Raptors for 15 years now. So come on now, y'all. Let's trust Bobby that he knows how to balance the books and get the best value for our roster in moves and what he's doing. He doesn't seem like he's doing a bad job. And that aspect of our team is a plus. and a very good positive person that's in that position, just like Darko, just like Scotty as the franchise player. We've got the right people in these spots. And people that get all crazy and like, oh, Bobby's so bad. He's been so bad. Well, what the fuck? Have you seen Colin Murray-Boyles now he plays? You gonna tell me Bobby's bad? Come on now. You're crazy. You're crazy, man. You're crazy. Yeah, accountants, put down the ledger. Science lab, put down the microscopes. Yeah, let Bobby and Darko cook is what I'm saying. That's right. Kaloy saying, I think OG had a ruptured appendix, which is much worse. He had a ruptured appendix? I thought he just had an appendectomy. I don't know. Either way, it's just fishy to me. Joel can come back, but meanwhile, OG couldn't. Something's weird there. Kaz is saying, salute, Lex. No problem. I try to help out when I'm not driving. See, there's the other thing. This man's doing this, and he's actually at work driving a route on his route truck, and he's giving me fact check and doing that, man. That makes me want to give you another dunk right there. All right, you're getting another dunk. Jeez, Kaz. I didn't realize. Don't put your life in peril just to fact check and help me out. I want you to drive first. 36 for Kaz now. He's moving up the dunk charts rapidly today. Rapidly. Kaloy saying this, Raptors have a path to Eastern Conference Finals. Let's go. Let's fucking go. That's right. I love it, man. I love it so much. It's so awesome. It is so, so awesome. I really, really do love it. Reggie saying Toronto can handle Orlando. Raptors in 6 if that happens. I'm telling y'all. And think about it. We really just wanted to get a taste of the playoffs for our young squad and so they could know what it's like. But it seems like they're like a duck to water and they're just swimming so good. They're just naturals for the playoffs. You guys get that feeling from our guys like Shed and Colin and Scotty that these guys are just built like this for this. It could be partly the way Darko's been preparing them all along for a couple years now. It could also be that Bobby just did a really good job of picking winners and hard-nosed players that when the chips are down and things are really crazy, they shine and go above and beyond. Because honestly, these guys don't have the experience to be doing this. That play that Shed did with the 8-second violation, that's a play that somebody like Dennis Schroeder should be doing. You know, somebody who's been in the league like 10 years, not 2 years, like Jamal Shed. And if you think about like the level that Shed's at and the level that Murray-Boyles is at right now and how young they are, think about what could be with more knowledge and more experience and more information. Yeah. Think about it. This is them just scratching the surface of what they could possibly be in this league, and they are thriving right now. They are thriving. It's really, really amazing. It's really, really good. Yeah. Let's see. Kaloy saying Tiago Splitter sounds like a crazy-ass pitch. A Tiago Splitter? Yeah, it does, doesn't it? It's like, oh, yeah, let's see. What's his name? Scherzer. Max Scherzer at the plate or at the mound. He's throwing the pitch. It's a curveball. Oh, he blew the Tiago Splitter. Was it a Brazilian splitter or something like that? No, he's Argentinian, right? He's Argentinian. He's either Brazilian or Argentinian. He's South American. I know that. He's not European. Tiago Splitter. It does sound like a pitch. That's funny, Chloe. All right, you get a dunk for a funny connection because it does. It sounds like a funny pitch. You threw a Tiago Splitter with a changeup. All right, let's see. Where's Kaloy? Here we go. You're at 27, my guy. 27 for the Tiago Splitter comment. That's funny. Better a Tiago Splitter than a Chauncey Billups, huh? All right, let's keep going. I like these new anti-tanking rules. They seem like they might work. We'll just have to see. I hope they do work. I hope they do because we want a league that's more competitive. We don't want people doing what they've been doing. Utah. Seymour saying both teams have former Raptors, Lowry and Banton. Yeah, but I'm not worried about Delano Banton. Come on now. It's like the Groat versus Toronto's own Rexdale Bus. Yeah, and some ways I got to go Groat. But you're right. Either way, we're gamed it. So we got one of our former Raptors winning. I mean, Ron Harper Jr. is on the Celtics too. So we do have 2 former Raptors on the Celtics, even though Chris isn't there anymore. Fiercely saying this at Trevor J, repping the Raptors family last night. Raptors Freak family tonight. Let's go. That's right. He's going to be at the game tonight in Cleveland for the Raptors in the building, and hopefully he can get loud. And hopefully he can see a great victory for the Raptors in person in the visitor arena, in a visiting arena. Yeah, that'll be good, man. That'll be good. Smooth saying this, Raptors wanted to keep Delano, but he asked out. I remember Darko had a plan for him. Pressure of hometown expectations and obligations was too much for him. That's why I love RJ so much. He embraces it. Yeah, and once again, RJ said this when he first got to Toronto. If he came here at the time when Delano was here, he would have probably failed out too. It's about maturity. It's about you go into the new level of the NBA from college, and there's all kinds of new distractions and all kinds of new things about your lifestyle. And if you're at home and you know a lot of people around you, yeah, that could be a problem. So Barrett was very clear when he arrived in Toronto after the trade that if he had been on Toronto as a rookie, it may not have gone well, like Delano, that he needed the seasoning of a few years on the Knicks to become an NBA player, to mature a bit before he could come back to Toronto and be in this situation. So yeah, you heard that Delano asked out and he wanted to get out. That's interesting. Maybe he knew that he needed to be more pro, and he was getting too distracted in Toronto. Maybe he did that for that reason. That makes sense in some ways. Chloe's saying, "I love to see Delano circle back when he's got a few more years in him." Maybe. I mean, I wouldn't be against that either. It's interesting that you guys were saying too that Darko had plans for him. Yeah, he might have. I do kind of remember that. I do kind of remember Darko talking about Delano Banton that summer, but yeah, last he was let go and moved on from. Let's see. Smooth saying, I think Banton identifies more with Boston given his second go around with them. He doesn't identify with them more than Toronto. Come on now. He knows where he grew up, and he'll always be the first ever Toronto born player drafted by the Raptors. So, I mean, I doubt this. I mean, in some ways, he's an NBA guy. He's around. He's been on Texas Legends most of this year. He's been on Portland. He's been on a few teams since he left Toronto. And well, it's just that the Celtics have a working relationship with them. And maybe in some ways they're like, well, we could get this guy back. He's kind of familiar with what we do, and he's kind of useful for this. So Boston called him back. I don't know. I don't want to believe that he's more identifies more with Boston. Fuck all that, Reggie. Come on now. He's not really a hometown guy, just not that dude, more like Tristan Thompson. I don't agree with that. I don't think that's true. I spent time with Delano on Twitch too before he left. I spent time with Scotty, and I spent time with Delano, and I saw how he interacted with his friends here at ease in his streams. He did a stream to release his In Your City streetwear brand. He has a clothing brand called In Your City, and they were on one day showing the shirts, and he was with his guys from Rexdale, the Toronto guys, and I could see their interaction. And yeah, maybe it wasn't like the best group of guys to be around and stuff, but I'm not buying any of this. Reggie, why do you write these narratives? You're going to say a Toronto hometown kid has stabbed us in the back and he's more Boston now? Why the fuck would you even say that? You're speaking for him, first of all, and you don't know if that's true. And second of all, I find it insulting because seriously, he's from the city. He's for the Raptors. It's just that he's playing in the NBA and other teams right now. It's just like Kelly Olynyk could be running around playing for the Celtics for most of his career and the Miami Heat and being abusive towards our players. But when he comes to Toronto, finally, he's like, I always wanted to be here and I'm living my dream. And I've always been for the Raptors on the down low. So, yeah, why do you write these comments, man? That's so negative, saying that you think Banton identifies more as being a Celtic at this point. Fuck all that noise. I reject that, man. Let's see. Seymour's got an interesting emoticon there. I don't know what that is. Is that like that? Smooth saying CMB was Bobby Webster's pick. Very smart. Yeah, I don't totally agree that when people say that Masai's last gift for us was CMB, I believe that you're right. That it is Bobby and more that took that pick than Masai, and that Masai was just he was let go the day after Colin was drafted. And honestly, they did the timing of it just because they didn't want to distract from Colin getting drafted. If they'd gotten rid of Masai right before the draft, that would have been the story, right? That would have been completely the story. So they had to draft first. And, Masai, the whole last 6 months while he's on the team, he may not have been doing a whole lot of anything because Keith Pelly and Ed Rogers were like, we don't need you. We don't need you to do anything. You can hang around. You're still officially with us, but we're letting you go this summer after the draft. You know that. So I don't know. It could very well be, I could be wrong on all this, but it also could be that Bobby is still talking to Masai daily and still talking to him about Raptor stuff, but maybe not. Maybe Masai's like, Bobby, I can't do this. It hurts my feelings. It's just like an old girlfriend. I can't talk about this with you anymore. It's hurting my heart. And he's like, don't. But maybe he is still able to bounce ideas off him and maybe get a little insight from Masai, even though he's not officially with the Raptors anymore. Maybe a lot of that energy that Masai has for that is going towards the tempo now. That in some ways his identity and his legend and his work, his career is utilized by the tempo and his resource of knowledge in basketball and his attitude about winning. I noticed yesterday that Sandy Brondello uses the word exciting as much as Masai uses the word winning. It's like Masai always said, winning, we are going to win. We're going to win. And like he said that so much. Well, Sandy likes the word exciting. She said that a lot in her press conference. I know I say this a lot, but it is exciting. It is exciting. So it's like Sandy is too exciting as a Masai is too winning. It's pretty funny. Kaloy saying this. I remember Bobby saying we will get the number 1 pick value in the number 9. That argument may be more and more true as time goes on. It may be very evident like that. Once again, I want to see Colin Murray-Boyles on the first team all rookie team this year. He should be one of the top 5 rookies, NBA voters. You can see what he's doing right now. Put him in that team with Cooper and Khan. Put him on that team with VJ. That's right. If it's those guys and Cedric Howard and Colin Murray-Boyles, you got the right picks. Seriously, that's it right there. That's right. That's right. Let's see. Kaloy saying this. Remember the times this season where everyone was doubting that we can hang with the big boys, but these guys are playoff risers. I think that we're lucky in the matchup. And it really was the amazing thing that happened on the last day of the season with us landing our Plinko chip in the spot with the Cavs. If we were with the Knicks, it could be a totally different playoff series and different feel right now. Let's not get it twisted. This whole season, we did not beat the Celtics or the Knicks, and either one of those matchups is not a good matchup for the Raptors. But somehow, some way, I don't know, God's looking out. There's a path for us to get the Eastern Conference Finals where we wouldn't have to face one of them until then. So, we're lucky in some ways. We did get the Cavs, and this is happening this way because we did not play well against New York and Boston this year. And that may be a totally different series in that situation, is what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Mo's here. Super fan Mo's in the house. We know the super fan Monique Lawrence is going to be rooting hard for the Toronto Raptors tonight. And also, she may be doing some double duty, keeping tabs on a Tempo preseason game. Yeah, happy game day, Raptor Freak family crew. Tempo and Raptors. Let's go. Let's go, Mo. And Trevor J's going to the game today to cover the RFF in the house in Cleveland for us. Mo got the game on Thursday last week, the W. I went in on Sunday with Adriana, got the W. Well, we're hoping Trevor J will get the W for us in Cleveland tonight on the road as a road warrior for the Raptors, Mr. Precious Paul Trevor J. Ellering. That's right. Let's go. Let's go. Always love to see Monique in the chat. Live. Let's go. Kaz is saying this. The only reason Delano is still in the league is because of his length. If he was 6'2", he would have been out of the league years ago. I agree with this. I think that Delano still is like one of the fastest players in the league. The biggest problem with Banton is he's out of control too often. If he could harness his speed and really be more in control of himself, he would be a devastating player in this league in certain ways. The other thing with Banton is his weight. He is a skinny guy, and he can get pushed around, and he can be a defensive liability if he has to play down low. So in some ways, he's a better perimeter defender than having to do anything down low, but he does get mismatched and abused in the post sometimes by a bigger player. So this is a couple of things that are troublesome for him in his NBA career. But I haven't seen him recently. It could be that he's done a lot of work to fix some of this, whether it's getting stronger or getting more of his ball handle and his speed under control so he's not so chaotic. Because he was a very chaotic player on the Raptors. In some ways that was good, but also bad. Very bad also. Yeah, let's see what's up. Let's go. Reggie's saying, I heard stories about Banton, man, from people I know in those circles. So you're saying that you know this because of people that told you that he's not for Toronto? I mean, either way, I don't want to believe this. Once again, what are we trying to do on this channel? We're trying to be a positive channel, Reggie. And mindset's supposed to be positive. And telling the tale of how the first ever Toronto player drafted by the Raptors hates Toronto or doesn't want to be associated with us, that's not the action and the energy for this channel. Let's just put it that way. First of all, it's a topic that's not necessary to talk about. I don't give a shit about what's going on with Delano Banton. I could give a shit more about Kyle Lowry or Nick Nurse than Delano Banton right now. Delano Banton, I wish him well. It's part of our history. But in some ways, I don't really give a fuck of his allegiance or any of this stuff. It's not even really a topic for this channel. We got 3 major topics today. It's a Raptors playoff game, a tempo preseason game, and the NBA changing the rules about the draft lottery. That's the 3 main topics today. Ain't no Boston Delano Banton love fest topic on my list. I'm sorry, guy. And even if you know people and they told you something, well, it's still hearsay. It's not official. And in some ways, even though I make a lot of speculation, I fill in the blanks and I say a lot of stuff, sometimes I don't like building narratives that don't suit us. And this narrative does not suit us in any way. So I'm not going to perpetuate it or put it on blast or even endorse it, is what I'll say. I don't know if it's true or not. And I'll just say, I don't know if you're right or not. I don't care in some ways. Kaz is saying this, they still ruined Colin's draft experience since we had to wait weeks to get an interview. Yeah, because instead of Colin getting to interview and Elijah Martin and Chucky Hepburn, Keith Pelly took the podium and fired Masai and ruined our weekend. Did I ruin your long weekend? Yeah, you did, Keith Pelly, you piece of shit. 2-finger salute from me and Masai. That's what I say right there. Yeah, sorry if I ruined your weekend. You idiot. Dumbass. We still paid him for the year. You're trying to cut costs, but you didn't even get the services rendered. What a lame fucking piece of shit, honestly. Yeah. But you know, that didn't really ruin Colin's thing. I mean, he came around, he's getting the interviews now. I mean, we could make that, we could build that in the narrative you want to. Once again, that doesn't serve us, Cass. This is part of the positive thinking is like, no, let's not write that narrative. That's not right. Keith Pelly took that away from us. Fuck that. He can't do that. He doesn't have that power. Colin's fine. He didn't get that taken away from him. We won't write it that way. That's right. That's right. Fiercey's saying exciting. Yeah. And Fiercey's saying, does the 65 game rule also apply to the rookies? I'm hoping Colin Murray-Boyles' injury doesn't derail his recognition. I don't think he missed too many games. Like, I think he got the amount of games. I don't know, Cass. Are you driving? I think that Colin is clear and he got enough games. I'm pretty sure he played 65 games. He was out for a while. You're right. Oh man, I'm gonna go look. I can go look. Don't worry about it, Cass. Don't stop the truck. I'll just look really fast because I can find this. Yeah, why did that not come up faster? Yeah, he didn't get 65. He only played 57. Yikes. Maybe that will hurt him. Yikes. I didn't think about that. Wow, Fiercey. Yeah, all right. I'll give you a dunk for bringing up something that may be a factor in that. That sucks. I hope that is not true. And he doesn't miss out because of that. Yeah, he only had 57 games. All right, Fiercey, you got the Patrick Patterson 54, or dare I say the Sandro Mamukelashvili 54. That's right. All right, where am I at? 2.5 hours? Yeah, all right. I should start going. I should start closing up shop here. Let me just check on my tabs, see what we're saying here. Let's see if there's any breaking news. Let's see what's going on here. LeBron has weighed in on the MJ debate. Our games are different. Yeah, he had a much better winning percentage than you too. He definitely did. Let's see. I did that. Okay, I did that. Breaking news. Let's see. Let's see if there's any breaking NBA news real quick. Oh, there's the RJ comment. Is RJ saying at the interview this morning on his defensive improvements, Josh Lewenberg's article he's writing, it's something I've been working on. I think I could always play defense, but it was putting it together more consistently. I'm not perfect by any means, but I just think the intention to strive to be better is the key. There you go. I like that. Now, Shed said some funny things about it when Lewenberg asked him. He said, yeah, RJ's decided to play defense this year. He could always play defense. It's just he's actually trying to play defense now. Is kind of what Shed said. Scotty was glowing about this question when Josh Lindbergh asked him about RJ's strides and changes in defense, saying he's worked really, really hard. I'm proud of him. He's doing all kinds of different stuff on the defensive end, like playing bigs, playing smalls, switching, having to do all this. And like we really count on him, and he's done a really good job for us. And last Scotty said, he's changing the narrative. He's changing the narrative about his defense and whether he's good or not on defense. All right, we do not have any Raptors birthdays today, unfortunately. There's nobody that I got to shout out a birthday to on the birthday list today. So instead, we'll do the classic card real quick and get this done real fast. Here's my box. There it is. All right, let's see who we get today. Hopefully get somebody cool. Okay, this one's a little tough. We'll see how you guys do. It's not as classic. It's a little bit more recent. And we'll see who gets the classic card of the day. Of course, the rules are you got to name the full name of the player on the card to get the classic card points. So here we go. Let's see who knows who this player is. We were talking about Blazers today. We got a Portland Trail Blazer once again today. They got eliminated last night by the Spurs. So which Blazer is this, guys? That's right. Let's see who this is. Let's see. All right, hang on. Let's see if you guys know who this is. I'll bring it up real close. Wow, Kaz has got it. He does know. It is Robert Covington. And Kaz did that while he was driving around, too. Wow, good job, Kaz. I'm impressed. Honestly, I forget who Robert Covington is. And honestly, I don't really think about him very often. So the fact that Kaz got Robert Covington, I'm going to give him a pretty good total here. I think I'll give you 150 because I feel like this is a hard one. This is a hard one because he's not really – in some ways, I might have said Kentavious Caldwell-Pope on this card, right? Although he didn't play for Portland, I don't think. So it's kind of like, yeah, there you go. Robert Covington, the Raptor Freak Classic Card of the Day. That's right. No, I'm at my next stop. I'm just waiting to hear the classic card. There you go. Okay, so you stopped the vehicle. Yeah, is Robert Covington still in the league? I don't know. I don't know if he is. All right, fine. I'll check. All right, let me just see real quick. Robert Covington. All right, let's see. Does he play this year? No, he's not in the league anymore. He wasn't in the league last year, so he's been gone for 2 years now. He played last in 2023, 2024, and he has not played in the league since. So, yeah, Robert Covington is not playing anymore. That's right. You keep making me fact check. Well, you have questions, Fiercey. You always have questions. All right, Monique has a comment here. She's saying, I haven't been in the Raptors tailgate before. I want to try it. My sister wants to take me how it says that way Friday. What? How take me help? It says that way Friday. Go tonight. Why not? It's a way. They'll be out there tonight. I don't know what the weather's like. You know, the tailgate on Friday, I mean, yeah, go if you want. I don't like calling it a tailgate. I think it's the stupidest name for it. Monique, it's Jurassic Park. Come on. Don't buy into Keith Pelly's bullshit branding of our classic, amazing event called Jurassic Park and call it a tailgate. Fuck that. Reject that name. That's a football term. That's a Buffalo Bills term. And that's Keith Pelly trying to throw stupid ass names on us for the name of Jurassic Park. That's what that is. We've never called it a tailgate until this year. Why the hell are we doing it all of a sudden? Just because Keith Pelly wants us to? That's why I reject that. I'm like, man, it's not a tailgate. It's Jurassic Park. And it always will be Jurassic Park. There's nothing to do with nothing called a tailgate. Are there people getting drunk off their ass and cooking barbecue out there in the middle of a parking lot on the tailgate of their truck? No. And that's what a tailgate is. It happens in the parking lot of Ralph Wilson Stadium is what a tailgate is. It's just them trying to infiltrate Raptors culture with Buffalo Bills bullshit in a weird way is what it is to me. Yeah. But yeah, if you go, you should and enjoy it. Check it out. I don't know. To me, I'm always like, you should be inside. You should be inside. That's how I feel, but I know that the tailgate, the Jurassic Park, it is free. You don't have to pay anything to go to it. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't go to it at this point myself. And the only reason why is because I used to go to the real Jurassic Park before they had any control over it. I've even thought about this. Part of the reason why they're doing the Jurassic Park and the way they do it is because they want to limit the size of it. The police don't like having to do crowd control and just random gatherings of people showing up all of a sudden. It could have been a liability issue for MLSE that having thousands of Raptors fans show up in Jurassic Park for Raptors games out there and they don't have any control over it. Well, police and law enforcement had to come around and kind of watch for crowd control, right? So MLSE had to control the event. And well, in some ways it sucks because the original Jurassic, and we talked about this yesterday in the trivia because it was part of the questions. There weren't no barriers, and we could fill the whole street all the way down to Skydome. And there was estimates like 10,000 people in Jurassic Park then. Now they can only put like what 500 people in the little part that they close up. Some of that is by design so that they can have easier crowd control and liability issues are lessened. And if they license it themselves and have it all in there, it's on them. But if there's people outside, they can't control what happens there. In some ways, they could be liable in weird ways too for that. So I think this is part of the reason why they've done this. If it was just an organic crowd gathering outside like it originally was in 2014, and MLSE has no official part in it, the crowd keeps growing. They can't control it. At some point, it's like 10,000, 20,000 people outside in the street, standing in the middle of the street, taking up the whole street, watching the TV screens. That's the way I look at it right now. That's part of the reason why they did this is to control it. It's also to not have to pay law enforcement to be there, to be watching it all on a huge level. Because if that's the crowd stretching all the way down towards the rec room and Ripley's Aquarium and the CN Tower and the Sky Dome, they have no control over all those people all the way down the street. So that's my theory on this. That's the whole reason why MLSC had to take control of it and guide it and have all the rules for it and put the barricades up and make it official like that. And even putting the reason why they put those bleachers up, they don't have to put those bleachers up. You know what I'm saying? They don't have to put those bleachers up. In fact, those bleachers are up to obstruct the view of anybody who wants to come down there and doesn't want to go inside the actual official gates for Jurassic Park. Because in the beginning, they didn't have bleachers. They set up the railings and everybody could go in there. But there were a lot of people that were coming down there and weren't involved in the official Jurassic Park and standing down the street, watching from the sidewalk down the street. So they put the bleachers up to obstruct the view so that people couldn't come down there and stand on the outside and watch it still. Yeah, a lot of it's just stupid. I hate the changes to it. It was much better when it was a fan-driven, organized thing that had nothing to do with MLSC controlling or anything. Why is this tab making noise all of a sudden? Who's Trevor? You posting crazy in like the Discord right now? It's like going crazy right now. Somebody's posting like crazy in there. But yeah, that's my feelings about the whole Jurassic Park phenomena. They take a good thing and they make it their own and they ruin it to a degree. It's not the organic, amazing thing that it was in the beginning at this point. It's sad. I wish it was still. I wish it was. All right, let's keep going. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up things. All right, straight goods on Canadian goods. Allen's vinegar. Use it to clean the boards. Go get those boards tonight. Jakob, Scotty, Colin, Sandro, RJ, Brandon, Jacoby, all you guys, go get boards tonight. That's right. Go get boards. All right, let's see. The referee, the injury report, real quick. Once again, Emmanuel's out. That's nothing changed. Everybody else is fine. AJ Lawson's fine. Everybody else is fine. They're available. But Emmanuel, he is not. On the other side, Cleveland has a clean bill of health. Nobody is going to be missing for them tonight. So they have every single player available for them. The ESPN matchup predictor is giving us a 39% chance to win, 61% chance for the Cavs to win. So they are favored as the home team. The referees for tonight's game, the crew chief for our Raptors game is Scott Foster. He favors the Cavs. Sean Wright is the referee. He favors the Cavs. Guillermitas Petratus is the umpire. He favors the Raptors. And the alternate, John Butler, favors the Raptors also. In the replay center, it'll be Justin Van Dyne. who's watching from Secaucus. In the Toronto Tempo, first ever preseason game, our crew is Tierra Cruz is going to be the crew chief, number 5. She is a pretty good record for Connecticut. They have a winning record with her. Tyler Merkovich is the referee. They have a losing record with Tyler Merkovich, the Connecticut Sun. And Blanca Burns is the umpire. She has a winning record for the Sun. That's the ref report for the WNBA Tempo, the first one I ever did just now. I can't give you any stats on the Tempo because they never played, but I can tell you the winning percentages for the referees with the existing teams in the WNBA. And well, Tierra Cruz, Blanca Burns have winning records with the Connecticut Sun. Tyler Merkovich does not. That is your ref report. First ever one. That's historic for this channel for the Tempo game. There you go. All right. I guess I'll just go ahead and talk a little bit about keys to the win, to the path to the win or the victory. These guys understand each one of these games in a 7-game series is a different chapter and a different story to write. And none of these games are the same. And in some ways, we could think we're going to get another slog just like we did on Sunday, a very low-scoring Eastern Conference playoff battle. But it could very well be a very different kind of feel and a different kind of game. As I said, it's very likely that Kenny Atkinson has been up all night trying to figure out how to stop Scotty Barnes. And it could very well be that one of the adjustments that the Cavs try to do right from the start is covering up Barnes better. And that may mean a feasting for Notorious BI3. That's the thing. We've got different people that can hurt them, and they can't cover all of them. This is one of the biggest strengths about our team. So if we can do this right and we can read the game and the energy from their defense and how Kenny has adjusted, we can make the adjustments in real time quickly to make to figure out which one of our big names is going to be able to be most effective with what they're doing with their scheme. It could very well be they change things and they really try and batten down the hatches near the basket to stop Murray-Boyles and Barnes better. Then that means in some ways, hopefully some of our guys on the outside will have more room and space to get open, clean shots, especially Brandon Ingram. So this could be the switch. We may have seen a bully ball tag team action of Murray-Boyles and Barnes on Sunday, but it could very well be this is a huge game tonight for Brandon Ingram, and he wins this game for us in a pivotal game 5. That means we only have to win one more game and win the series. That's what I'm hoping. We have a lot of trust in our coach right now. He is proving to be a very good playoff coach so far. And, our young team is such a young nucleus. In some ways, they could have something like the Thunder and be a young team that just finds success in the postseason because they're built like that. In some ways it is true. Being veteran and knowing the postseason, having experience can be important. But it can also not be important or not something real if it's James Harden and Donovan Mitchell and their track record. So we're just going to have to see how it goes. And just like we are going to be reacting at home, the team and the coaches will be reacting too. And hopefully they'll be doing it in a very astute way, in a very successful way. And we will get that big W by the end of tonight. And the Raptors will be up 3-2 over Cleveland in their playoff series. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So be open, be flexible. Know that the path to get victories, to just win, is not always the same path. And especially in a 7-game series, the team that has more versatility and more options and more ability to find different ways to win will win the series. And along with trying the hardest too. So remember, Shed, remember Barnes, you guys have to be absolutely exhausted come around 11 p.m. tonight because y'all left it all on the floor at Rocket Arena tonight. If you aren't, well, you didn't do your job then. And that's the main lesson from this playoff series so far. The first 2 games, y'all were not tired after the end of the game, were you? But you were after games 3 and 4 in Toronto. So yeah, remember that part of it. You work hard, you go all out, you'll get the results that you deserve. If you don't, you'll get the results you deserve also. That's it right there. That's it right there. Most saying W stream, W vibes. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that, Monique. And Raptors and Tempo, let's go tonight. Mo, did you see my new jersey? My Colin? Ooh-wee. I was like, I had to get the black jersey because I didn't have a black jersey, so I got it. Yeah, let's go Tempo. I'm very excited for this too. In some ways, my words of wisdom for them to try and win is just have fun. You guys are starting a new journey, and we don't have any expectations for y'all. There's not a lot of pressure for you. So just do it. We just want to be introduced to you guys and get your characteristics and your feel for how y'all are going to be as a unit. And I'm excited to see the debut of the Toronto Tempo tonight also. Double duty, Mo. We got double duty tonight. We got to watch both of them. That's right. It's not going to be 9:05 in the Raptors. It's our Tempo with the Raptors for the first time ever. It's amazing. Yeah, Fiercey's saying we need to make it past the first round. If they count playoff games, Colin could be eligible. They don't count playoff games. They don't do it that way, Fiercely. I wish they did. No, they only count the regular season in in these awards with this. And it could very well be he is penalized for this, which sucks. But hopefully, maybe they'll make an exception for him, just like they did Anthony Edwards and Luca and people like that. All right, I'm out, y'all. I appreciate everybody watching the Raptor Freak preview stream for today's game. A little bit of a Lexathon. Yeah, there's a lot to talk about. I feel like Adam Silver has a pretty good plan for the tanking issues with the draft lottery. We'll just have to see how it is enacted and how it works in practice, and we'll see if it actually does the effect that it needs to do for the league. I think it might, and I'll be very curious to see how it all goes down. Tempo. Oh man, the day is here finally. We've been waiting for a few years to meet our Toronto Tempo, and well, the day is finally here. It's preseason, but it's still going to be very exciting to see the energy in Coca-Cola Coliseum and see the players make their debut on this. And Raptors, listen, it's y'all's life. You can do what you want. You want to be successful, you can go do it. You have the opportunity. But if you don't put in the work and you don't do it right, you will fail. So it's up to you guys. And I know you guys are winners, and I know you want this bad. So don't lose the job in the middle of the project. You got to see this through. And that means 2 more wins against Cleveland Cavaliers. And one of them should be tonight in the pivotal game 5. All right, y'all. I love you guys. And I hope y'all have a great Wednesday. Do what you got to do in your rituals to help the Raptors win in whatever good luck ways. And I will see y'all tomorrow in the reaction stream for both the Toronto basketball teams games tonight. Yeah, we'll go over it all on Thursday morning. Let's go Tempo and start this journey with Sandy Brondello and Monica Wright-Rogers. Teresa Resch, I want to give you so much credit. You've done a fantastic job getting us to this point. President Teresa, nobody's talking about you enough. Honestly, you've done amazing job. And well, Raptors, Darko, we trust you. And Darko, we trust. And Scotty, we trust. And Colin, we trust. And RJ, we trust. And Brandon, we trust. So let's go get it. And Young Guns, you help out too, Jamal and Jacoby. Let's go Raptors. And let's go Trevor J. Get loud for them tonight. And let's bring home the W. Just win, Raptors. That is it. You just won on Sunday. Ugly as hell. Well, you may have to do it again that way tonight, but maybe not. It may be a whole other way that you win this game tonight. I'm looking at you, Ingram. It's time for you to notoriously hit the 3 and bring us to victory, BI. That's right. Let's go